All right, so it's scheduling time. I was taking a look at this before, and we've got a hell of a main event to schedule here. Uh, this is a tough fight for Steve Ervin and Lernik Khapachev, who is the #1 ranked contender by pretty much every belt organization imaginable. Somehow not a champ. He was stripped of his belt by Emerson Gomez, knocked out Carlos Octavio Martinez in 2 rounds, who's a very dangerous fighter. So Khapachev is still an elite world level fighter, but his chin is a little cracked at this point, 7 chin. But this is the hardest fight of Steve Irvin's career. I don't even care who else he's fought. 23-3 for Khapachev, and the reason is this crazy ring IQ, punch accuracy, and stamina. We have him on defense, which is encouraging, but ring IQ is a 20 ring IQ, 19 punch accuracy, 20 stamina fighter. Just sucks to fight against. 19 takes punishment too. He's going to be really hard to damage. There's a reason this guy's a really successful world champion level fighter who's the #1 ranked contender by everybody that matters. Seals is an easier one. We're doing Kyle Benet. He's a good defensive fighter, a good puncher, but bad stamina, doesn't take punishment well. It could be a loss here for Seals. It's a bit of a dangerous fight, but it should be a win. We've got Flores versus Cottrell too as a possibility here, but I don't want to give Flores any more losses. I think I'm going to hand him some easy wins. Luis Felipe Santiago is the only really respected ranked fighter we can match. Abel Cash, close to the top 50, also very dangerous. I'd say Santiago is a dangerous fight, but he's got bad stamina and bad takes punishment, so we'll add that to the card as well. Yeah, this guy seems overrated. I don't know why he's ranked by everybody. We're gonna add this to the show for sure. That seems like a pretty easy fraud check for Jose Edwards to enact there in the light heavyweight division. I'm pretty excited about that. He could get a pretty big clout boosting win there. Thomas Young, 8-1 now. We can give him a tough Mexican, or we can give him an easy win. There's a lot of tough Mexicans, and a tough Puerto Rican, and a tough American. There's really not an easy fight here for Thomas Young. This game wants Thomas Young to struggle. This game wants Thomas Young to go through the trials and tribulations. Here, Jose Vargas isn't too difficult at number 70. And then we can throw Javonte Williams on the bottom of the undercard and give him an easy win over Billy Roy. And that'll be it for that card. Then we'll create a new show. We've got Donovan Winchester. Would this be for his super welterweight belt? I would. It seems. Is that also in 4 weeks' time? It said in 4 weeks' time as well. We can put Morales as the second. Basically just a co-main event of the evening. The Showboat Resort, Atlantic City. All right, Fred Morales. Lamont Williams has a regional title fight actually as well here. The North American, I believe it's featherweight title, so we'll add that to the show. Do a couple regional title fights. Hopefully they actually end up being for the belts. We scheduled that regional title fight earlier, I believe, for Max Rice. He won it and didn't get the belt. Don't really know how that works, so hopefully we actually win these titles. Fred Morales, Michi Sanchez. We already beat Michi Sanchez, right? Miguel Cruz. I don't know why Fred Morales struggles so much to rank up. Jose Antonio Gomez is a tough fight. But you know what? We're going to do it. You got to take tough fights in this game. We can't just cherry pick forever. Let's see if Boniface is... No, I think this guy's... Anybody else we can pick off, try to keep him undefeated. Because I really want him to stay undefeated. I really want Fred Morales. Here, this guy's... He should cook this guy alive. This guy's not that good. 21st ranked. Let's beat Omar Martinez. I also want Fred Morales to pile up wins. I want him to go undefeated, and I want him to go undefeated for a long time, for as many fights as possible. Frankie Edwards, Miguel Alvarez, that's a really tough fight. I mean, we keep giving Frankie Edwards tough fights, and he keeps winning them, like we said. But a few of these seem like a step a little too far. Santiago Mendez would be a banger. Johnny Perez, he'd probably lose that one. I feel like he's already fought Perano, and if he hasn't, he'd probably lose to him, because I know he's good. I think we found a nice middle spot there with... I believe it was this guy. Yeah, Santiago Mendez. Kareem Ramos still undefeated. This guy's got a crazy record. 29-13-2. This guy's a road warrior. Julio Sepulveda, nearly top 50. Santiago Chile. We'll do that one for Ramos. Get him to 15-0, hopefully. This is not a 5 fights. And then we've got enough to do another main event. It's crazy that Rico Hartman is the top ranked guy right now. Anthony Adam. That would be a fun fight. Let's add it to the bottom of the card. And then we're gonna have, let's go a week. And then we'll schedule another fight. Okay, we got Amparan versus Carl for the welterweight title this week. Bouts to schedule. Daniel Rosales, is that a good one for McCreary? He could probably win it. Ranked 22nd. Nice bounce back. Jared Coetzer as well. I believe Jared Coetzer has fought for a title. If I'm not wrong, he has. He lost to Michael Carl. This might be a decent win. I think this is a decent main event here in 5 weeks for Gabriel McCreary. Let's do, wait, 1 second. I want to see his fitness. 70. Yeah, he's okay. I'll give him a new 5-fight contract and assign the event. This would be a nice prove-it little statement win for Gabriel McCreary if he can get it against a former championship contender. We could have it in South Africa. You know what? I'm kind of down. I think Jared Coetzer would be a hometown fighter. I think he'd have his fights at home. Just in my headcanon of the universe, Jared Coetzer really likes fighting in South Africa. We will oblige him. Luis Eduardo Marbra, Joe McAllister. It's true with a lot of those fighters from the smaller boxing nations. I feel like a lot of times if they're like a championship level fighter and they're the only real top level fighter from that country, they're just going to have all their fights in their home country. Just because they can. That's a big part of like Usyk's thing, where Usyk is never in Ukraine. He's always fighting in someone else's country. It's kind of crazy. Like Usyk just has been on a road trip. He's done this whole thing of like becoming one of the greatest heavyweights ever. And he's done almost none of it in his home country. It's all been out on the road and fighting in other parts of Europe mostly. Sonny Bazinian versus Manuel Soto. That's a pretty nice high-level, undefeated light heavyweight prospect matchup. Let's see. Versus a Canadian versus a guy from Buffalo. How you like that? So a Canadian versus another Canadian. Everyone in Buffalo is like, hey, we're not Canadian, eh? That's what everyone in Buffalo talks like. If the business is true that you left your moms in the hood, you better go smoke that ute. That's what every one of the... That's what every Canadian fighter in this game sounds like in my head. Should we challenge Rigoberto Grant that much? I don't really think so. If you leave your moms in the hood, you make me sick to my stomach, fam. Lawrence Steve. There we go. I'm Steve. Dimash Sirnoy, Reynaldo Ortiz, Toka Conmerajes from Bolingbrook. Jamarcus Ferguson, I feel like we already beat him up. Ramiro Rodriguez, that's our own guy. That would be self-harm, self-immolation even. Reynaldo Ortiz is a good puncher. He's aggressive. He doesn't take punishment well. Sorry, I just want an easy fighter. For Sirnoy, who's got 2 losses, but he's a heavyweight. There isn't anyone easy. There are no easy fights here for him. Maybe we go international. There'll be somebody near the top 150. This guy's a monster. Jenny is ranked 171. I guess that's safe. I just feel like Sirnoy is like, it's crazy. He's huge, but I just question if he even has the talent for this division with all these guys. I mean, Reynaldo Ortiz is probably the best option, actually. He's a bit overranked at 117, which is pretty high relative to the other guys here. He's got 10 losses, but he's still not bad, but it's definitely our best choice. But a nice fight here for Rodriguez and Rodrigo Concepcion. They might have fought before, but I really don't care. I think he'll win that fight, so I'm going to schedule it. Let me just see. One sec. Who else hasn't fought? Just Flores, DeRocha, and Cardo. Not that big of a deal. Okay. Oh, we've got this welterweight title fight, and then an interesting featherweight title fight for 3 belts next week. So let's go to Amparan versus Carl. Edgar Amparan from Mexico City, or Coatepec, Mexico, rather. He beat Michael Carl by majority decision in the first fight. I remember distinctly thinking that he did enough to win that fight. And let's see if he does enough to win this time. Amparan renowned for his gas tank relative to Carl. Carl beating him up in the first couple rounds, though. It's a big recovery round for Amparan, doing good work, but Carl strikes back and takes the round. Carl was taking round 4 there, slipped up in the middle, though, and Amparan started landing power shots. And Amparan isn't not in this fight, and he does a lot of good work there in round 5. He definitely is in this fight now. Dominates that round after really dominating the second half of round 4. And in round 5, he really severely damages Michael Carlo, who's only 29% energy. He uses actually only 7% of it to do a lot of damage there. So a really good round for Carl there in round 6. Round 7, it's a knockdown and a finish for the still undefeated Edgar Amparan, who knocks Michael Carl back into contender status. An 8th loss for a very damaged fighter in Michael Carl, who's had a lot of miles up there at the top level now. You got to worry about the health and trajectory of his career at this point after that loss. But I mean, his losses are only to good fighters. Also, a fighter who went up in weight. Maybe he goes up in weight again. You never know. But he's fought nothing but killers at this weight, and he's got some really solid wins at this weight too. Over Dowd, over McCreary, of course, one over Ling, and of course over Coetzer as well. But he's never beat Amparan. So incredible goings on here in the welterweight division. Really proved to be maybe the most entertaining division of the saves so far, given that the heavyweight division has just been the James Ray show. And we didn't watch those apparent classic heavyweight bouts involving, unfortunately, I don't even remember his name, the former champion, who Uber Ramaswana, who had 4 fights, a quadrology. Let me take a quick look at all of our fighters' rankings just to refresh you guys for the episode. McCreary, pretty downranked, a little depressing. Max Rice getting downranked too. He just needs to fight and win. I don't think he's on any kind of a losing streak. 1 second. Let's look at Max Rice real quick. Did Max Rice lose? He did lose. He lost to Boniface. That's sad. Yeah, he's been in a bit of a tough run of form. I don't know. Can we weight change Max Rice? It says they really don't know. Yeah, they want him to change down. I think the game kind of wants him to change down. All right. I'm 1 Max Rice loss away from moving him down in weight, to be honest with you. He kind of needs it. The game kind of seems to think he needs it too. We already moved DeRocha down. I feel like we did. Could he move down again? No. That's depressing. He probably could, though. Don't know about a contract extension for him. 2 fights left. Yeah, we still have to schedule a fight for him. That's right. Well, he versus Kamara. And what's the story here? They've never fought before. He was never a champion at Super Bantam, despite maybe deserving a title shot. I mean, he went everything in O. I wonder how many of his fights have been since the save started. He might have all 24. I'm not going to go through and count them, but pretty dang close to all of these wins coming during the save. So this is a fighter who simulates like a monster. He beats Suhei Ito in his featherweight debut, and then he gets given a title shot against Justina Lesher. Beats Sonny Boy Timpani and Miguel Toro. So this guy is a badass. He's 24-0. Low aggression, low defense. Interesting combination. High punch accuracy, high ring IQ, of course, as it is with all of these hard-to-stop champions. And a very undersized featherweight, but a pretty long reach for 5'4". And the first round, he versus Kamara. Well, let's look at Kamara first. Whoops, I exited the fight. Let's look at Kamara. Not the best skill set, to be honest with you. And a long losing streak. This is kind of an easy title defense, I think, for he. But Kamara's got a good gas tank. He's a bit of a warrior. We'll see if he can make this a bit of a blood and guts affair. No, it's a tough second round from he. Lots of volume from Zubao he. Who's just, yeah, he just turns it on at the end of the rounds, that ring IQ. He just sits there and sort of stalks him for the first half of the round and then just attacks at the end of the round, and Kamara really has no answer for it. We've got a 2-belt fight here between Kim Nataplang and Martin Castro. So this is a unification bout, I see. So Martin Castro is trying to unify, which he should do. He's the best fighter in this division, against Kim Nataplang and take his IBF belt. I don't know how Kim Nataplang came by this IBF belt, but he has it. He's won an IBF belt before. I guess they decided to give him another one. He's got a really cracked chin. So I would expect this to be a pretty easy Martin Castro win, to the point where I don't even really think we need to watch it. But we'll watch it anyway and see if Nataplang can manage to not get knocked out. He did not. Kim Nataplang did not manage to not get knocked out. He got knocked out in 2 punches. 1-2. How about that? Like Lennox Lewis versus Seam Rockman. Pop, pop. 1-2. Good night. Bye, Kim. Give me that belt. Martin Castro is a monster. It sucks that Fred Morales is in the same division as him. It makes me want to change Fred Morales' weight down, except I don't even have a weight selection screen for him, as we're going to add more ring IQ to Fred Morales and make him an even more disgustingly broken fighter. What an insane fight that would be, man. I mean, every time I watch Martin Castro, I'm just like, him versus Fred Morales would be just unbelievable. Hopefully we get it. Hopefully the fans get what they want. We've got one more title fight. That wasn't much of a title fight. That was a good title exchange. A one-sided title exchange. But I couldn't exactly call it a fight. Joseph Manigo versus Festo Ulicia. Is this a unification bout? No, it's just Ulicia, not Ulicia. Ulicia, he's again, a very small super featherweight at 5'3", having a weight change down, but he's insanely high ranked and a good puncher and very smart, at least with the ring IQ, not the intelligence. Good chin, though. Again, bit of a warrior. African champion, former African champion. Some good wins. A couple wins over Guiyao Yang. Win over Lesher. Win over Christian Famachon, who I'm pretty sure has beaten one of our fighters before. And Joseph Manigo is the pride of the Philippines, or at least one of them. Lost his belt to Elias Caballero in those classic matchups. Whatever happened to him? Wow, he won the belt in that thrilling fashion there, and then lost it to Imai. That's right, and he's never gotten it back. Struggling in the super featherweight division. Just with contender status, Elias Caballero. We thought he was going to be a lot more than that after he beat Manigo, but Manigo is still 28 and still a reigning champion of the world. Quality wins out, just dominating the upper portion of the division after the loss to Caballero. And now back on top and defending his WBA and WBO super featherweight titles from Festo Uliza of Tanzania, who is himself a talented combatant. Let's go. Good first round for Uliza, who broke his nose but did a lot of damage to Manigo. Broke his nose and didn't like it. More damage dealt to Manigo and a knockdown. A lot of times when you see a challenger win those first 2 rounds, you can expect the champion to come back and absolutely dominate round 3. That is the exact opposite of what happened there, as Uliza dominates round 3. 18 punches and a knockdown. Now he's chasing the victory over the Filipino champ, and it's a 2 knockdown round for Festo Uliza, who is now the WBA, WBO World Super Featherweight title holder, and Joseph Manigo. A very, very poor performance, especially that round 4. He just got beat up. 4-2-2, like a soccer formation from Festo Uliza. I didn't know this was Football Manager. Let's go to our show. That was a couple crazy title fights with some crazy knockouts, and it's Gervonta Williams here to beat up. What's his name? We're gonna watch Billy Roy get beat up by Gervonta Williams here to start up this card. He took some damage in round 1. We're winning the fight though, and there's the knockdown and the knockout. Gervonta Williams 4-0. Young versus Jose Vargas. Nice job there from Young. Nicer job there from Young. More work from Young. Young damaged, but with the lead on Vargas, he can chase the win here. I guess Vargas got to the end of his gas tank and Young damaged him. Vargas looked like he was taking a strong lead there with the last of his energy, but his energy ran out and Young got a knockdown. Yeah, Young taking control here. We're going to go for broke actually here to try to secure a win. It's pretty even on terms of punches. Let's make sure we get the win here. We lose the last round, but we still win on the scorecards. And Thomas Young, 9-1 now. His first win not by knockout in his professional career. Even Rodriguez versus Fabian Acosta. Good first round by Acosta, the challenger. Rodriguez starting to even things up. Good round 3. We're going to pile on pressure in this heavyweight fight. That just creates a pretty chaotic round 4. Round 5, we go to the body and nearly get the stoppage. We're going to pile on again. And we get the stoppage there in round 6. Even Rodriguez up to 6-0 over Fabian Acosta. Alexander Wiggins here with yet another setup fight, just like that last one. set of fights. You never know in the heavyweight division. This one, a little bit easier. Wiggins just needs to provide volume. It'll be interesting to see if he gets a knockout or not. And there it is. Really starts landing some combos on Munguia. And the ref's seen enough and stops it. Jose Edwards versus Jack Fazelden. This is a little bit of a dangerous fight for Jose Edwards, who doesn't have the most phenomenal defense in the world, but it's a great first round. Can he get to 15-0? He's chasing the win, and he does inside of 2 rounds. Jose Edwards, still proven to be a factor in the light heavyweight division. He might even be advancing a little too far, too fast. He's a guy I'd like to see some more development for. But that ring IQ and that defense may never develop. Low ring IQ, low defense, and low takes punishment. Not low, 11, 13, 13, but not fantastic. 20 dedication goes a long, long way. Having good to decent intangibles goes a long, long way. Being a southpaw goes a long, long way. 20 aggression goes a long, long way. But bad ring IQ, again, low ring IQ, lower defense, lower takes punishment. It's just not a great combination for going undefeated, which is what he's doing so far. It's a lot of early round knockouts. He hasn't been tested much in the late rounds. I imagine Jose Edwards, for as exciting of a fighter as he is and being ranked as early in his career as he is, he's probably got some haters. I'm not one of them. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying, is he going to be the undisputed? I don't know. Maybe for a fight or two, but at the top level with that kind of defense, that's getting exposed. It just is. It's getting exposed. You can be as mad as you want to. I think Jose Edwards is just... I would not bank on him to end his career undefeated, no. Cottrell and Santiago going at it here in the first 2 rounds. We're going to jab and move just to sort of keep the danger at a minimum because we've been damaged. That worked very well. It's a bit too much of a slugfest to go to the body. This is a heavyweight bout, man. These guys have been on high damage, low energy for a while and still are. And I don't like that we lost that pile-on pressure round. We go back to natural style and it's pretty even, but don't know how feasible jab and move is on natural style. And now we're getting badly outworked. Is Cottrell going to drop this fight? Normally known for his high ring IQ, Cottrell. But he's dropped far too many rounds here. Let's see. What can Cottrell do to try to hunt a finish? He's got 18 power. We're definitely looking for a KO. And we get it. Let's go. Good job, Ricardo. We look for the KO. He piles on the pressure and gets it with what had to have been the last of his energy. And Ricardo Cottrell with a great win. He secures his 21st win. And the main event of the evening. Oh, no, sorry. Supporting bout. That's right. Ervin versus Khapachev. Yeah, Tony Seals versus Kyle Benet is not the main event. No, sir. No, sir. Maybe the co-main. If Kyle Benet shows up, we can book it in hindsight as the co-main. It doesn't seem like Kyle Benet has shown up yet. Tony Seals. He can still get hit with a power punch. It's Kyle Benet who gets hit with a power punch, though, instead. A minute and 3 seconds into round 2. Tony Seals. 27 wins, man. That's a pretty big number. We're getting up there, man. That's starting to look like a real boxing record, huh, Tony Seals? 27 wins. Wow. Respected in the game, no question. And Steve Ervin versus Lerner Khapachev. This is going to be a banger of a fight. Kind of crazy this isn't for a title. Steve Ervin can be a very real super middleweight contender if he wins this fight. Round 1. Strong start by Ervin. Power punches from Ervin. Big shots from Ervin. Khapachev needs to find his range and start landing. Ervin, the takes punishment is so good from Khapachev, man. It's a huge first round from Ervin, and Khapachev isn't really that touched by it, which is concerning. Ervin is going to have to keep doing this level of work for 10 rounds, which I'm not going to sit here and wait for that to happen. That would very much impress me. Ervin is an impressive fighter. If he has that kind of wire-to-wire performance in him, I want to see it. He's fighting off the back foot, no ring control, but he easily won that round. I think I'm going to pile on pressure here. It might be a little bit of a risk, but I want Ervin to continue the offense. He's been very offensively productive in this fight so far. I want that to continue, and it does continue here. But Khapachev hitting back quite a bit now. I think we enabled him to find his range. Yeah, this is a good round from Khapachev. That was a bit of a mistake, pile on pressure, but you can blame him for being aggressive, and there's a lot of aggression there from Steve Ervin. I think we go to the body now. I think that could be brutal for Khapachev. He may be able to respond, but we can really do serious damage to him, and we are. Can he do serious damage back to us with his accuracy? And his ring IQ has been far from stealing rounds so far. We've been the one looking more like stealing rounds. This is a big round for Khapachev. I take it back. Now he's teeing off. Yeah, he found our range. He's teeing off. Hopefully we can survive this. Man, he almost got us out of there. We're going to cover up in this round and go on fast because I'm nervous. We got way too into his range and let him tee off. Yeah, he's almost got us out of there, man. Uh-oh. I don't even know about jab and move here because our ring IQ isn't quite there. I think we're just going to stick it on natural style and pray he doesn't finish us, and he does finish us. Man. I'm telling you, man, punch accuracy takes punishment. That takes punishment, made a huge 39 punches, man. That go to the body was a bad mistake. That go to the body was a bad mistake. It worked for the first half of the round. Man, I wish you could just change an instruction halfway through the round, because I might have there. The second half of the round is where it became a disaster, and he put us up from like barely having any damage on us to being on the brink of being knocked out. And that go to the body decision was singularly responsible for that loss. We were up 3-0. He had come into the fight in that last round a little bit, finding his range as we tried to pile on pressure. And then we really let him find his range once we went to the body, and that was our mistake. And it really was also about that takes punishment. Khapachev not taking enough damage from the heavy beating Steve Ervin put on him in the first 3 rounds of the fight. So it's one of those fights where it's a disappointing loss. It looks like a bad loss on the record. We're probably going to come back in a couple of weeks and look at it and be like, oh, that sucks. The Khapachev totally owned him. Not really the case. It's one of those losses for Ervin that's just kind of what it is. I doubt that people in the division think of him any lesser. It's just that it's another tripping block on our path to a championship here, man. It might be a long road. It really is a lot harder than the first time I played this game to win a championship, but like, respect. I'm still having a blast. And that was a disappointing fight, but still a fun fight, and it could have definitely turned out the right way. I just went a little over aggressive with that go to the body. I really wanted to pound him and get the finish over a tough fighter, right? I mean, the takes punishment is another part of it. He's got such high takes punishment. I want to make him take punishment. Go to the body. That's how you make somebody take punishment. Staying in pile. I figured that if I stayed on pile on pressure, that kind of thing would happen, taking 40 shots in a round. But instead, it's go to the body that gets us into his range and enables him to land 40 shots in a round. And they're giving Sonny Bakara. Oh, okay. Well, he won the first one. So this is a trilogy. I was kind of surprised. I thought it was just a rematch, but it's a trilogy. So yeah, Bakara is going to get a third fight against Sword that probably won't go great for him, if we're being honest. And we've got Ilya versus Usainov for 1 belt. This is a trilogy fight, so I'm going to be watching it. Should be a classic, man. Ilya and Usainov. I really hope that one day we get to see Steve Ervin. But you know what? This is a long, long game, so we're just going to keep advancing weeks doing fights. Steve Ervin is going to get more explosive, fun wins in the future that are going to put him back in the title picture. I promise you that. Could be just one fight away, as we've got Gabriel McCreary versus Jared Coetzer when I get back. Actually, we're going to do these title fights first. Ilya Usainov 3 is first up on the slate. 1 win each for the two combatants in their rivalry. From the same town in Bulgaria. Imagine the divide between the people of Bulgaria, one side rooting for one fighter, one for the other. Usainov in a commanding lead right now over Ilyev. Usainov, honestly, probably the better fighter, but a huge round from Ilyev. Right as I say that, Ilyev basically coming back to make this fight even. It's a Usainov round. He's got a big energy advantage, and he has done more damage over the course of the fight. Wins another round there, takes out the last of Ilyev's reserves. There's still 4 rounds to go, and Usainov is in command, despite a nice effort there from Ilyev in that 1 round, the 5th round. It's a commanding win for Christian Usainov to take this rivalry, unsurprisingly. Usainov now 27-1. Which of our fighters did Usainov beat? He definitely beat. I think it was Fitch. Yes, he did. He KO 12th Fitch. That was Fitch's first title fight. Sucks to see Andy Fitch with those 4 losses, man. It really does. I mean, one is to Tony Seals, so he really has 3 losses. His losses are pretty strong, man. Donnelly, Usainov, Seals, and then Santiago Mendez. That's not a great loss. That's his only real bad loss, though. And then Frankie Edwards took. Frankie Edwards got revenge on him. Good for Frankie. And we've got Gilberto Gomes, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, I believe, versus Sean Steele. It says #1 global, yeah. Is that pound for pound? Who is #1 pound for pound? Real quick. It is Gilberto Gomes. I'm correct. Amparan at #3. Wow. That's a pretty quick rank up for a 22-win fighter. All right, so Gilberto Gomes versus Sean Steele. Is this a rematch? It is. He's pretty much fought everybody at lightweight. He's completely cleared out lightweight. He's the greatest lightweight of all time by such a laughable margin. It's not even funny. To such a laughable margin, it's not even funny, make any sense. You know what? I'm not going to think about it too much. But he's knocked off undefeated dudes. He's knocked off former champions. He beat Mosades Rosa twice. This guy, Sean Steele, obviously he beat already. Salim Abdallah. He's knocked off dude after dude after dude. Oscar Dominguez as well. He's one of the best lightweights ever. Made $29 million, 18 million fans. And it's a rematch here against Sean Steele, pretty much probably because he ran out of other opposition. But Sean Steele's a warrior, and he's big. He's big for the weight. And he is an absolute warrior with that stamina, and that takes punishment. But he's going to take some punishment by Gomes, who's just a better puncher. And he proved it in round 1 there. We get it, Gomes. We get it, Gomes. You can hit him. You can hit Sean Steele. You're very good at that. Take your money. Take all of your belts. Congratulations. 32-0. That's routine stuff for Gilberto Gomes right there. Go up a weight class. Like, that's sort of the problem, right? Like, can Gomes pull a Pacquiao? Can he just go and, like, start flying up weight classes? He's way too good for lightweight, but he's too good at lightweight. He's small for lightweight. You know? Does he change weight eventually, or is it just not worth it? Is he just going to stay at lightweight and be the GOAT? Because, I mean, dude could go 50-0 at lightweight. He is pretty much, like, he's very close to being a perfect fighter. It's just that 11 stamina, but that 11 stamina doesn't really matter. I mean, I could argue 12 aggression is perfect. Like, genuinely, 12 aggression might be a perfect amount of aggression. 7 cut tendency is great. 16 dirtiness is, like, that's insanely dirty, but not too dirty. 20 box office, 20 dedication, 20 ring IQ, 20 punch accuracy, 20 defense. Yeah, he's the best lightweight in the world. He's the best lightweight of all time in this save. 10 on the canvas. What's it going to matter? I doubt he's ever been knocked down. Yeah, who knows what guy is going to come along and knock him off. Raymond Pena can fight. He's got a size advantage on him, but so do most of the guys he beats. And by he, I mean Gomes. I would expect Gomes to beat Pena. Pena's a good fighter. But yeah, we don't have a lightweight, I think, that can really stand up to him. I don't think there is a lightweight on the planet that can stand up to him. What a fighter, man. Gomes is going to be that's a Hall of Famer right there. I mean, there's a few guys who are shoo-ins for the Hall of Fame. He's one of them. He is absolutely one of them. Morales versus Luna. I'm going to skip this. We're going to go to our event. Unless the Snow. Nope. Danny Snow versus Andy Conwell. This is a killer heavyweight title fight. Andy Conwell from Manhattan, New York. We wanted to sign him. He's been on CR Fight Team for a while. If he wins a title, if a fighter from New York wins a belt, oh, man. I mean, a fighter from New York already had a belt at the start of the safe. He was a welterweight champion. I forget his name. But if a fighter from New York wins that we wanted to sign wins a belt before we win a belt, I'm going to be mad. 3 draws in a row for Andy Conwell. He's undefeated. He managed to keep that undefeated record through blood, sweat, and tears. I'm sure he lost one of these fights. This is saintly work coming in from the judges here, coming in from these friendly New York area judges, keeping this man's undefeated record. 22-0-4. Come on, 4 draws? He had to have lost one of those. Come on now. But he's fighting for a world title now. He hasn't lost a fight. Oh yeah, I was going. How long is his win streak? He's never lost. He's somewhere between 22-0 and 26-0. I have no clue. Sorry, he's somewhere between 22-0, 26-0, and 22-4. We have no idea. But he's fighting for a world title. I don't think he has much of a shot against Danny Snow, who's a very talented fighter who has more belts than James Ray. He's got the ring belt as well, but it's not on the line here. Let's see if Andy Conwell can pull off an upset. He doesn't seem to know how to lose. He's putting damage on Snow. He's putting more damage on Snow. Did you see that? I'm riveted by this. We're gonna slow this down. Snow continuing to pile on. Finally, some battle back from Conwell, who lands heavy damage, big shots. And he really manages to get Danny Snow's energy down there. Let's see what Snow can do with this remaining half of his energy with an energy deficit relative to his opposition here in Conwell. This is a super even fight right now. Hard to say who's at the advantage because now Conwell's more damage from the good work Snow is doing. Conwell with big shots, hard punches. Snow connects. It's an even round. I think you maybe even give it to Conwell. The scoring of this fight is going to be really interesting, especially if Conwell wins down the stretch, because he's going to be the one with the energy in all likelihood, although Danny Snow is battering him here in this round. Conwell with a counter punch, but Snow with two back. Conwell scores one back. Conwell gets him against the ropes and starts to land. Snow hits him in the center of the ring, a crisp punch there at the end from Conwell, but Danny Snow took that round. They're going back and forth like a teeter-totter here, but Danny Snow is down on energy pretty significantly. The champion he broke his right hand. That's going to significantly hurt his punch output, one would think, here in the final rounds, in addition to him having very little energy. But he takes that round. He's still got energy, and he's got Conwell damage. He's still pouring it on. Snow is chasing this victory here. He needs it. He's coming after it. Conwell's going to have to hold on for dear life against the heavyweight champ. Tracking him down. No shots thrown from Conwell. Danny Snow, can he pile on enough pressure? Conwell survives, but that's like a 10-5 round. Conwell didn't throw a punch. He didn't land a punch, at least. He didn't throw any punches we knew anything about. Danny Snow with only 2 power punches somehow, but he landed shot after shot after shot. And, buddy, there are 4 full rounds of action to go. This is one of the heavyweight fights of all time. This is one of the best heavyweight fights we've seen in this save. Snow pouring it on. It might not be a heavyweight fight for long. Conwell hasn't had anything to say. He's at 25% energy, but he's just not throwing. And he escapes the round, saved by the bell. He's just been walloped these last 2 rounds. The volume has disappeared. We were talking about how he was going to be on his horse here in the second half of the fight. He was going to be the one with the energy. Instead, Danny Snow has gone from 20 to 11% energy in these 4 rounds. He's just battering Conwell and not even using energy doing it. It's like he's just standing in front of him and out-punching him, and I think that is what's happening. I think they might have actually put a... What is it? Plant your feet. I think he might actually be on plant your feet, Danny Snow. He's just planting his feet and out punching Conwell. It's some work from Conwell, but he's needed it earlier. He really could have used that in round 6. Really slow round. Not much going on. And even though there's not a lot of volume there from Snow, you'd think it could give Conwell a chance to score points. He doesn't throw anything. Now, Conwell firing out of the gates in round 11. He needs to. With the last of his energy, maybe some last flurries of offense here from Conwell, but it's not going to be enough to win the fight. He's dropped so many rounds. He's going to really need to land a huge shot on Snow. He wins the round here. And he's the one with the energy. Snow on 0% energy, but Snow has had no problem fighting with little energy tonight. He's made the most of the energy that he's had, certainly, as he continues to land on Conwell. Conwell trying to do a little counter work, controlling the ring a little better. He'll definitely, to steal rounds, have any chance on the cards. That's not going to happen. No, maybe. It's an even final round. What do they say? Oh, it's a vast decision win for Danny Snow. Well, he commanded the middle of the fight, and he's easily ahead on punch stats. It wasn't a bad effort from Andy Conwell. For a while, it looked like it had the makings of a heavyweight classic. There were no knockdowns, though. And Conwell, I think, would have had to have, as I said, taken control. If he would have taken control around here instead of falling completely off there in that round 8, that round 8 was really the swing point. I mean, you can see right here, 38 punches to 3 in rounds 8 and 9. And that's really what won Danny Snow this fight. But Danny Snow and still WBC, WBA World Heavyweight title fight, and we are still dreaming about a title fight between him and Sir James Ray. And now, we're finally going to get to this McCreary versus Coetzer fight down in Durban, South Africa. Let's see if we can upgrade Oscar Garcia at all real quick. Or if I want to. We can't. Oscar Garcia might be a bit of a lost cause, to be honest. I mean, he's on the bottom of the card here. But I don't have the most hope for him. We're going to just extend Williams. Why on earth would we not? Don't even like seeing the contract thing next to Williams' name, and we're just procrastinating at this point. Next. Garcia versus Szelle. Let's get it on. I mean, this is an easy one. If Garcia loses this fight, I'm cutting him. There's no excuses. He's got to win this one. He's got to keep impressing me. He has a lot of holes in his game. He's got bad ring IQ, bad chin, so he needs to just knock people out to prove that he can stay here at the promotion. A terrible round from Garcia. Getting battered here by Halili. Garcia wins that round. He's still in pretty significant danger. We're going to go on cover up. See if he wastes any energy chasing us. Sort of. Let's go to the body. Nice. Good work there. Okay, so we have a reach advantage then. Natural style. That's a nice round from Garcia. He turned that around. That go to the body round turned it around. You live by go to the body, you die by go to the body. Rodriguez. Boring round one. A little more eventful round two, but he loses it. Almost got a finish in round three. Explosive round three. Huge finish to round three. Blood coming from Concepcion's left eye. And then he finishes it. Bad start to the round, but then piles it on in the middle of the round and gets the finish on Rodrigo Concepcion. And Ramiro Rodriguez is 7-1. Sarnoy versus Rodriguez. Let's see what the big Dimash can do. Big Dimash. Gotta come up with a better nickname for him than that. Jab and move. There you go. There's that 90-inch reach. Just keep using it. Just keep using them long arms. Long arms Sarnoy. That's so much better. I like long arms Dimash Sarnoy. And he just got knocked out. Great. Well, you know what? That nickname's not going to stick then. We're not going to use long arms. You're going to get one punch knocked out by Ronaldo Ortiz. Okay? I mean, it can happen to anybody. It's the heavyweight division. He's still our guy. He's still our guy. We're not done with Sarnoy yet. That was a disappointing loss, but that can always happen in the heavyweight division. Rigoberto Grant just got knocked down by a 1-2 fighter in a 6-rounder. Don't like this at all. I'm going to need you to finish it. There we go. Grant steps back and KOs him. Yeah, he didn't like that knockdown too much either. Little concerning from Rigoberto Grant, but okay. Soto, 6-0. First real test of Manuel Soto's career against Sonny Bazinian. Bad first round. Decent second round from Soto. Catches up in the third and gets the finish. Nicely done. Professional work from Soto there. Got behind, but worked on his opponent, learned his opponent. Applied the lessons from the first 2 rounds in round 3 and got the finish. 7 knockouts in 7 fights for Manuel Soto. David Flores versus Jose Rocha, who is an undefeated young heavyweight. Tough test for Flores. We need to keep this man in the win column for sure with what has happened to his record lately. Just a few too many losses from Flores, and a couple. We know he has some tough luck losses on that record. But it's a dominant performance here. We're going to pile on pressure for one more round. And that's going to do it. Great work there from David Flores. The winner by unanimous decision over Jose Rocha. His 22nd career win. It's time for the main event of the evening. Gabriel McCreary, a couple fights after his championship performance. Let's take a look at how he's been since that championship, that undisputed championship disappointment. 19-5, but it's a tough 19-5. He was knocked out by Ariel Sanchez. That was a tough fight. He didn't look great in it. He has never changed weights, and he's had a pretty good time. Some knockouts. He's always due for a knockout. He loves knocking people out. He did a good job in that Michael Carl fight too. It just didn't turn out for him. So he's still got a lot of hope for Gabriel McCreary here as he fights a respected veteran of the division on his home turf in Jared Coetzer here in Durban, South Africa. And let's see what Gabriel McCreary can do. Ooh, first round KO. As Jared Coetzer, that one takes punishment. He's been around the block for a while. I think it might be time to start thinking about hanging him up for Jared Coetzer. He might need to say goodbye to that home crowd on the way out of the arena. That was not a great showing from the old veteran there. But you know what? It's a good-looking name on the resume, man. It's a good-looking name on the resume. Don't mind it at all. Never mind knocking off an old legend. Nothing wrong with knocking out an old legend. I mean, other than, like, the brain damage. But there is no brain damage. It's just Boxing Manager. You could say, isn't this just a brain damage simulator? I mean, sort of. Like, you're not totally wrong. But, like, the brain damage isn't real. None of these poor little guys who we throw out there, these poor little sets of names and numbers on a screen who we pour out there to go get their ass kicked. None of them are real. None of them get punched in real life. None of these punches really exist. None of these punches actually slam their sloshy little brains around their hard skulls. So there's nothing to be concerned about. Except for a lot of things. Emerson Gomes at 5'11". There's a lot of things to be concerned about, like in the world, with like stuff. Gomes coming off a classic fight against Khapachev, taking on Gonzalo Sosa with a very weak chin. Sosa, a very powerful puncher. We could be in line for a knockout. Also a southpaw, Mexican southpaw. This is a tough one here for our champ. This guy is kind of a beast, kind of an underrated beast. Ooh, they have fought already. How about that? Gomes knocked out Sosa in round 9 on September 16th, 2026. That was a long time ago. They were paid $12K and $9K respectively for that fight. They're going to get paid a little bit more tonight for the nearly undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. Who is the IBF super middleweight champion? Just to be curious. Oh, it's Usainov. Okay. Man, how about a unification there? After this one, whoever wins this should get Usainov. I mean, in reality, it'll probably be a trilogy, especially if Sosa wins. I might pick Sosa. Let's look at the odds. I'm fascinated by the odds here. Sosa is a slight betting favorite. Man, oh man. This is some good stuff. This is going to be a good fight. Let's get it on. Big first round from Gomes. Big second round from Gomes. Sosa. And a little trouble. Big knockdown from Sosa. He lands the big shot. Gomes up to his feet at the count of 8. Managing to survive a crazy scare for Gomes, who he himself almost gets the knockout. And then Sosa, what a fight. What a fight that was. That was an all-timer. Man, I wish we would have watched that one on slower. Man, oh man, if that was one of our fighters, we would have been watching it on fast, and I would have had some heart attacks in there. What a war. Sosa knocks down Gomes. Gomes struggles to his feet at the count of 8. Next round, Gomes knocks down Sosa. Sosa manages to get up to his feet at the count of 9, gets back up, and knocks out Gomes. These guys have a rivalry. We are watching the next fight between Gomes and Sosa on medium, not fastest. That was Hagler Hearns right there. That was a battle. That was a war and a half. Man, what a fight that was. Andy Fitch versus Donovan Winchester. Probably not going to live up to what we just watched. That was a crazy, crazy title fight for a lot of belts. They should rematch that and then give the winner to Usainov. It sucks for Steve Ervin, but the super middleweight division is in a little bit of a lull right now that he can't do anything about, especially if he's not going to win fights. Hartman versus Adam to start off the night. Adam, a decent challenge here for Hartman. Good first round. I'm always looking at jab and move with Hartman. He's big. But it's good work from Hartman so far. He's bossing the fight. Let's try to do it in the 4th round. Chase it down. Not quite yet. Now we're going to jab and move. Use the size. Good, good. Back to natural style. Not great work there. Let's go back to jab and move. I liked where he was at with jab and move. That's not good. Let's pile on pressure. Let's grow a pair here. Okay, we almost lost. Okay, I was about to say we almost lost our undefeated record. We're not undefeated. We should be ahead on the scorecard, so I'm going to cover up here in round 10. Hopefully they don't rob us. They're not going to rob us right now. We won that fight. Rico Hartman with a near unanimous decision. A bit of a close fight, but Anthony Adam was a tough opponent. Randy Dale versus Martin Marine, or Marin. Not sure how to pronounce it. Action-packed first round. Good first round for Randy Dale. Boring 3rd round. We got him damaged, but he can chase a finish for sure. Now he's just out of energy, and we can just chase for the rest of the fight. Pretty easy work here for Randy Dale. Oh, he just gets the knockout. Speed run. And it's a knockout for Randy Dale. 20th career win for Randy Dale. Always been an underrated fighter. Let's see if he gets more into the world of the ranked tier. He's just never really, despite being a great fighter, despite being big for a middleweight, he's just never quite been able to break into the ranks of the contenders, mainly because his losses seem so spaced out. He does lose, but he loses to good fighters spread pretty far apart. He's a pretty underrated fighter. Like, look, he's got a 6-round loss to this dude who's got a winning professional record. He's got a 6-round loss to Tommy Helms, who's 18-1 and an actual, like, contender. Carlos Quiroga knocked him out, who's also a fighter with a winning record, who's probably been ranked at a point. Oscar Saucedo Rodriguez, we know, is good, and he lost to him. So that's not a big deal. This guy's a top contender in the middleweight division. Oh, we're in the middleweight division. For some reason, I thought we were super middle. Campos, 13-1. All of his losses are good. He needs to stop getting slept on, but he needs to stay on a win streak. But he's a really good fighter, Randy Dale. I mean, just look. He's a really good fighter. He doesn't have any more room to grow, but he might not need it. He could fight for a belt. He could fight for a championship. He's very underrated. I didn't say he could win one, but he could fight for one. If he was in there as a challenger, I wouldn't scoff at it by any means. Rigoberto Grant, despite a bit of a sketchy last performance, I'm always nervous with somebody who I move down in weight. Oscar Garcia, man. How many fights he's got? He's only got 1 fight left. So I got to make a decision. It's just low intelligence, low chin. You know what? He's a southpaw. He's from Syracuse. He's 6'6". He's got 20 aggression. You kind of got to love him, no? Just take a 3 fight. Take a 3 fight. If you lose like 2 of those, you're gone. Sarnoy, we're going to resign. Yes, it's just because he's big. The fans love a big, untechnical heavyweight. It makes for fun fights. It makes for fun narratives. Keenan K.O. DeRocha, he's got 2 fights left still. Do we have any events? Wow, I'm freaking, how high am I? We're in the middle of a card. Do we have any events coming up? All right, Ramos versus Sepulveda. How did Ramos not get the knockdown there? I mean, the knockout. He got the knockdown. He was at like 100, I saw. He started chasing it, did chase it, and didn't finish him. I mean, this thing needs to be over. He took a lot of damage there. If we lose this fight, man? Oh, come on now. Really? Just go on cover up. I'm not doing this. We get another knockdown. I want you to... you know what? We're going to go for broke. I'm not even going to pile on pressure. I want to win this fight. Keep going. Win it. I'm mad now. This fight's gotten kind of crazy. We don't have that much damage on us, though. We're kind of battering him. He does a lot of work, man. He throws a lot of punches. There's another knockdown. I don't even know. We're just going to keep piling on pressure. Can we get the finish? Finally. Man. Sepulveda almost hung onto the bell there, and he might have gotten a decision on the cards. It says he won 5 rounds here pretty clearly. So with 54 seconds left, Kareem Ramos gets the finish and preserves his undefeated record. Who knows what would have happened if that would have gone to the cards. Let's see. Now they had Ramos ahead, so we were okay. Edwards versus Santiago Mendez. I weirdly feel like this is a rematch. Let me see here about Frankie Edwards. No. All right. So I guess it's just been a long time coming. Frankie Edwards, amazingly a contender at this point in the super middleweight division. I never would have thought. He doesn't really have good defensive skills. He's not a great puncher, and his ring IQ is only 14, but he just wins fights, man. He's magical. Let's see if he can keep winning. Mendez against Frankie the Psycho Edwards. Mendez takes round 1. Good second round for the Psycho. We're going to go to the body in round 3. Good body work. Going back to natural style for Edwards. He just keeps working. He just keeps landing. Kind of a bad round there. We're going to go back to the body again. We almost got him out of there. To go to the body from Edwards is fantastic here. Let's go natural style. We are dropping some rounds. Pile on pressure again. Go to the body has worked so well, I almost want to go back to it. This is such an even fight. I think we lost on that last round. Judge 1 scores it for us. Judge 2 scores it for us, and they give it to Frankie. Wow. I mean, we lost that last round bad. I guess it wasn't enough. It felt like we did control that fight in a lot of ways, but we got out-punched and definitely out-power punched. I think Mendez will be unhappy. He had a lot of ring control, too. I don't really know about that, how to justify us winning that fight, but it's the 20th professional win for Frankie Edwards in the super middleweight division, who is now 20-1. And what I tell you, he's magical. He just keeps winning. He cut Mendez up bad, too, over both his eyes. So an impressive performance from Frankie Edwards, a violent performance of pugilism there, as Morales is going to take on Omar Martinez in the super flyweight division. Ooh, look at that. Morales just storming him there in the second half of the second round. Landing heavy punches, heavy blows up against the ropes. Martinez with no answer, and the ref steps in and stops it. 21-0 with 20 knockouts for Fred Morales. Thank you very much. He is a dangerous, dangerous man. And it's the North American Featherweight Championship between Lamont Williams and the smart as a absolute... smart as a... I don't even know. Smart as a whip, Rodolfo Sosa. Smart as a dolphin. Einstein of the division, Rodolfo Sosa. I'm so stupid I can't even name a smart person. Rodolfo Sosa. Pouring it on here to Lamont Williams. You're going to have to cover it up. Cover it up. Give me a little stick and move action as well. We're going to use the ring here. We're going to make him chase us around. Now we're going to go to the body. Now we're going to determine something. And he just batters the crap out of us, man. We get in his range and we're in danger. I'm just going to go for broke. Lamont, I'm sorry, buddy. I mean, Lamont just had no purchase in that fight. We just got outstruck and outstruck and outstruck and outstruck. Don't know what to say. That was a bad night from Lamont Williams. Even with my instructions, that was a bad night. And I think it's not that surprising. Honestly, I hate to be this negative. It's not that surprising with his left column right here and his 8 intelligence. Like, I don't know if this guy's a championship level fighter. He's a contender. It's cool that he managed to get up to contender status. He's beat some good fighters. He's got a little magic to him himself. But that was probably a bridge too far there, and he's not that good. He's just got high ring IQ. I don't know. That was kind of lame from Lamont Williams. All right, main event time. Andy Fitch versus Donovan Winchester for the regional super welterweight title. It'll be Andy Fitch's first title at super welterweight. He was also the regional middleweight champion. That was a crazy first round. Sorry, I wasn't on it. Winchester, big first. And then a bigger second from Andy Fitch, who snatches that regional super welterweight title out of Donovan Winchester's hands. Who the hell is Donovan Winchester? Andy Fitch. Andy, flick of the switch. Fitch, the regional super welterweight champion. It's the second belt in the career of Andy Fitch. No world titles yet. And we got a week to simulate. And then we got some friggin' fights to schedule, man. Great win there by Fitch. Worried me a little bit in the first round. But took command and dominated the second. As Sosa defeats Gomes. As we saw, that was a crazy fight. That was one of the classics of all time. That would be included in a... I may at the end of the save make like a top 10 fights of all time. But I get a sense that that list is going to get filled out by our fighters over the course of the save. I get a sense that that's what's going to happen rather than us having to snatch a fight like that out of the general you know from outside divisions from fighters that aren't in our stable. I'm definitely going to make a top 10 like fighters of all time from the whole save though for sure. Or at least go over it at the end of the save. We're a long way from that though. Soto versus Wang. This is a pretty killer strawweight fight. Soto took the title from Wang. This is their third encounter. It's 1-1. So let's see. Soto versus Wang 3. Place your bets. Big first round from Wang. Man, Wang is a dangerous strawweight. Just battering Soto. Crazy round 4. They go at it in round 4. Wang cut up really bad, but Soto with less energy. Wang continues to carve up Soto. Even worse carving up Soto. Big power punch. Soto with nothing left. Soto's got to cling on here, down badly in the fight. Wang continuing to pour it on. A valiant effort from Soto, but the ref eventually steps in and stops it. Wang can't take anymore. It might have been on the cut. I think that's what it might mean round 10, because I didn't see like a final strike or like a big TKO flash on the screen. I think that was stopped by the cut on Soto. But it's destructive power from Wang. And he's only got one takes punishment. It speaks to how much he just beat up Soto, that he was never really in trouble in that fight. Only 8 power punches to Wang's 26 from Soto. 26 power punches from Wang is amazing. Bulacan to Massawi. This is a pretty great fight too. Massawi, maybe the best Australian fighter I've seen. A killer right column. 19 box office, 20 dedication, 20 intelligence, 20 conditioning. To go with all that, it's all that IQ, all that punching talent, all that aggression. He just doesn't have defense. But he's decent size for a super lightweight too. This guy's a dangerous fighter. And Bulacan, we've seen him work. He's an undefeated champion who we know his ability to put people away. Big power and 2 bad defensive fighters. This thing might be a blast. I'm gonna go through round 1, and if it's fun enough, we're slowing it down. I've learned my lesson on fights like these. Yeah, we're slowing this thing down. Crazy round 1. These guys are going to go at each other like alley cats. They don't give a dang about defense. They don't give one good gosh dang about defense, I don't think. As I say that, it's a pretty boring round 2. I hyped it up to be a banger, and nothing happens in round 2. I feel like Dana White must feel pretty often. Man, how about that last UFC event? Blanchfield versus Barber. You're going to remember that one. Echo through the hollows of time. Blanchfield versus Barber. Main event didn't even happen. I don't remember what the main event... Oh, Matthias Gamrot ended up being involved in the main event. That's how you know it's a really high-profile event. Just crazy, man. The UFC, like... I think Dana White barely even cares about running the company anymore. He really seems like that. I mean, John Jones is just acting like a boxer. I can do whatever I want. I'm the face of the company. I'm the heavyweight champion. But I mean, his body of work speaks for itself. They gotta want him back. I think he knows how starved the UFC are for stars, and he knows that he is a star. As Bulacan chasing the finish here on Massawi. Massawi doesn't have many ideas left. He's a dangerous fighter, but he's facing a guy who's kind of his equal and his better. He kind of does the same thing, but better. Bulacan, being an attacking, non-defensive fighter. Massawi really hasn't had anything to say to this pressure and this superb power punching from Bulacan. The power punches are really what's making the difference. We're just going to go on fast. This is a beatdown. There's a good round back from Massawi. I'm not going to slow it down yet. Massawi's got to show me something. There we go. Okay. He's worn out most of his energy, but he's not damaged anymore. It's Bulacan who's damaged. Bulacan got close to the finish and then seemed to ease off a little bit. Bulacan may still be in the power position here, but I don't know by how much. It's still pouring on pressure from Bulacan. Big power from Massawi. Budokan beginning to even things out. Massawi moving forward. Massawi wins that round. This is such a tough fight to call. This is so close. We said this was going to be a great fight. The tempo maybe have been a little slower in points than I thought, but that's probably out of necessity. These guys are both gassed at this point. I think if Budokan takes this final round, there's no denying who wins the fight. You can't take his undefeated record. Massawi has not done enough here. There hasn't even been that really big power shot to shock Budokan. Budokan is the one chasing the finish now. He's not going to get it, but this should be a pretty easy win here for Budokan on the cards. Only by 1 point there, but by 4 and 5 on the other two. And Robert Budokan remains the WBC, WBA super lightweight title holder. An honorable challenge there from Ben Massawi. There will be other belts for that man to fight for. That was a honorable effort. As Joe Sharp and Bill Donnelly, England versus Ireland. Nothing contentious about this one at all. For the world middleweight title. Ain't this a fight? Is this not a fight? Joe Sharp, the WBO title holder. It's a unification bout. It's not an undisputed bout. Donnelly, the WBC and WBA title holder, still undefeated after taking Andy Fitch's undefeated record. Still one of the best resumes in the middleweight division, the Swords native. And let's see if Bill Donnelly can take care of business and protect his undefeated record. Who is Joe Sharp's loss? Just to be this random 11 and 18 guy knocked him out. I mean, this dude's got punching power. Hey, everybody knows now. That's a knockout nobody's going to forget. If this dude's a world champion, no one's forgetting that one. Joe Sharp versus Bill Donnelly. Round 1. England versus Ireland. Oh, boy. Good first round for Ireland. England comes back in round 2. Come on, England, score some bloody goals. Bill Donnelly. Big lead in the round for Donnelly. Donnelly's winning the fight. He gets another round win there. Donnelly is pretty in command now, damaging Sharp heavily. Sharp needs to cover up. Sharp needs to go on defense. He's really getting battered now. It's round after round by Donnelly. Donnelly does not want to lose his O. Joe Sharp needs to put on a show here in the final round. He does not do that. Donnelly does. That's way too close of a scorecard. You saw 113, 112? How British are you? That judge is from Bournemouth. That judge was Bill Donnelly's kindergarten teacher. There is no way. What on earth was that? 113, 112? That's a joke. You're having a laugh, bruv. 113, 112, you're having a laugh. Look, he didn't throw any punches. He didn't throw any punches from round 5 to 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's 5 rounds. He didn't throw anything, and then he didn't throw in the 12th either. He threw 2 punches in the 12th. This man did not win that many points. This man did not get 112 points. I think 115, 110 is generous now. I was going to say, oh, Joe Sharp did a good job and showed that he has some good stuff. I mean, he did. He's a decent fighter. He's a good puncher, but he didn't punch. He got some good power shots off. He got a lot of power shots off when he did throw, but he did not throw enough. And Bill Donnelly won that fight. I'm sure there were some impressive-looking shots back the other way, but no, come on. Come on, Donnelly did not. Donnelly did not lose that fight. He didn't say he did, but 1 point. Come on, man. That was not a 1 point fight. And so new feature for this episode. That was a pretty, that dragged on for a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the cards I just made. I think that's a better move. We got Seals versus Salvia here. It's going to be Seals versus Salvia in the middleweight division. Morales versus Ayala. DeRoches versus Jevons. Mitchell versus Rosales. And then Rodriguez. And even Rodriguez and Ramirez are both going to have easy fights there at the bottom. Steve Ervin's going to fight Mauricio Jake. Cottrell's going to fight Carol Vavrin here, who's a top-ranked heavyweight. That could be a big win for Cottrell's career in the heavyweight division if he wins it. Andy Fitch is going to look to get back in the win column against this Georgian fighter I think he can beat. And then Jose Edwards is going to have another fight he should win pretty easily. And Darius Mitchell on the undercard. I can't click on that fight for some reason. Rios versus Davrin. This is a rematch. I believe Rios won the first fight. He did, by unanimous decision. That fight was in Australia. This fight's in America. Ramos versus Guevara. A tough opponent here for Ramos with a lot of losses, however. McCreary versus McKernan. And then some warm-up fights for our young guys there at the bottom. And then we're going to have this event in the New York Activity Center with 500 people because we just had 6 more fights to schedule. And we've got this interesting Randy Dale fight here as he continues to climb back towards contention. Jose Berto ranked by a few belt organizations. Hopefully we can knock him off, getting Oscar Garcia and Dimash Sarnoy, hopefully some easy wins as well, as Max Rice faces off against Oscar Ramirez in a tough scrap. It's not for a regional belt, however, I was hoping it was. Fred Morales is going to fight for a regional belt against Uriel Ayala, the North American super flyweight champion. So we're back. Jeffrey Labau previously knocked out Reese Kelly for his IBF WBO World Strawweight titles, and Reese Kelly is going to try to win them back. Labau takes the first round. These strawweight fights can always end in a blink, and there it is, right on cue. Labau knocks out Reese Kelly. In the first fight, it was the second round. In the second fight, it's the third round. Kelly breaks his hand in the second round and gets knocked out in the third, and it's a tough day at the office for Reese Kelly, and very much still the strawweight champion of the world, Jeffrey Labau, the pride of Valenzuela, Philippines. That 20 dedication and that 20 stamina. Reminding me of a certain other Filipino fighter we all know and love. What would, that's a great thing, man. Just to mod some of the historic fighters into this. What would Pacquiao's stats have been? The defense would not have been up here. Defense would have been I don't know, maybe he was underrated defensively, maybe a 14, 15. Punch power and punch accuracy, don't get me started. Ring IQ. He had some bad moments, actually, but that's just because he was such an aggressive fighter. Because the aggression's going to be at 20. The chin's not going to be at 20 for Pacquiao. That's how that works. On the canvas, how often did he get knocked down? He got hit so hard by Marquez he could never have gotten up. His takes punishment was obviously great, and his stamina was a 20. Pacquiao would have pretty much filled out every bar. Let's be honest, so would Mayweather. Mayweather would pretty much only be pulled back on punch power, and his ring IQ would be above 20. You'd have to break the scale off for Mayweather's ring IQ. Same thing with Pernell Whitaker. I've watched a lot of footage of Pernell Whitaker, and I don't know how he ever lost a fight. That's true of a lot of boxers, though. There's a lot of boxers where if you watch good footage of them, but I mean Pernell Whitaker especially. That's one of the great things about combat sports, though, man. When you watch somebody like Tommy Hearns, right? How big and skinny Tommy Hearns was, how long his arms were, and how powerful of a puncher he was. You watch him and you have no idea how it's possible that he could ever lose a fight. And then you watch him fight Marvin Hagler, and you watch him fight Sugar Ray Leonard, and you go, oh, that's how he could lose a fight, right? You don't know how somebody could lose until they actually do. And Floyd Mayweather went 50-0. We never saw him lose, so I can't really even imagine Floyd Mayweather losing. Maybe if that one punch he got hit by Shane Mosley landed a little better, maybe just him flat on the canvas, flat in his back. I have no idea, but it was hard to imagine before it happened to Pacquiao, and then it did. So, it's hard to imagine it happening to Canelo, but Terrence Crawford in September could just flatline him with one punch for sure. We've seen Crawford do that before. So that's the wonder of the fight game. That's the wonder of especially of boxing with these big padded gloves on. It just makes it extra crazy when somebody actually does land that one big one-punch knockout. Maybe we'll see one of those. Oh, it's not right now. I was going to lead right into it, but it's not this week. Adam Lovett and Don Reyes. And then we've got a cool little cruiserweight fight that we'll break down between two pretty good fighters before our event. So it's more title fights. Jose Edwards is the fighter that I am most interested in right now, to be honest. I think that I'm the most intrigued. And no crap. Gomes and Sosa are going to meet again. No crap. Yes, they are. That thing needs a rematch immediately. We're going to watch it on super slow. That was the Hagler Hearns of this save, that first fight. It was a war that lasted all of 10 minutes. 4 rounds. Lovett versus Reyes. This is a classic. I think these guys have gone at it before. I don't doubt it for 1 second. Lovett and Reyes. No. Wow, that's surprising. Is Reyes coming from some other weight class? Remind me. Maybe he was a super middleweight. He was. Okay, that's why they haven't gone at it. Don Reyes has been at the top level for a long time. Knocked out undefeated Johnny Perez, took his 0, beat him again. Is he responsible for Johnny Perez's only losses, basically? Nah, Perez has lost more fights since then. He cracked Perez's chin, though. Him and Iliev. That'll do it. That'll do it to you. That's some tough competition. Then he moves up to light heavyweight. He's fought Rocky Bethel twice. Those were easy. Beat Walter da Silva. I don't know if he's ready for the challenge of Adam Lovett, who is really a true tried and tested light heavyweight champion. He is a little undersized, but who cares? He's Adam Lovett. Let's see. I love it. You love it. Don Reyes with more professional wins takes round 1. That was an action-packed round. Lovett jumped out to a lead. Reyes came back, and then it ended a little even. Reyes, big round there. Bigger round there. He's ahead heading into round 5. It's a good round for Lovett. It's another good round for Lovett. Reyes on the back foot behind in the fight. Gonna have to make sure he doesn't get knocked out. Really even round. Reyes piling it on now. It's more good work from Reyes. Reyes getting back into this fight, the more energetic fighter. He's managed to even it up. He's got blood coming from his nose. He has pretty much for the whole fight. He took 3 of the first 4 rounds, dropped the next 3, and then has taken the last 3, arguably. There are some close rounds in here, namely round 2, which is action-packed, round 7 and round 10. Ooh, and it's an even round, and then Reyes knocks down Lovett. He's got to be winning the fight now. Surely Reyes is winning the fight now. I'm going to go on fast for this final round. They're both on 0% energy. If Reyes can take another round here, there's no doubt he's won the fight. Lovett's really got to show something. This has been an impressive showing from Reyes. Up a weight from his natural weight class, taking every belt that exists. Almost got the TKO there at the end, but it's a unanimous decision. And new Undisputed Champ Magazine, WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO Light Heavyweight Champion of the World from Belvedere Park, Maryland, United States, Don Reyes. What a performance there from Don Reyes. That was a good fight. That was a fun fight, and this one should be too. Artem Makoyadov? That's kind of a crazy name. Man, look at the town he's from. I'm not... Bro. Artem. Hello, Artem. How are you? Orthodox, 6'2", 81.2-inch reach. Pretty average size for a cruiserweight. Aggressive psychopath who can't punch and has no defense, but is unworldly dedicated, and everyone loves him, and he has endless stamina and is unbelievably conditioned. This man is ridiculously fit and a brilliant genius who's also an utter psychopath. And he decided to be a boxer, even though he can't punch anyone. He's that smart and that dedicated and that well-conditioned, that much of a physically fit Adonis. You might not like it, but this is what the perfect male form looks like. 6'2", 81.2-inch reach, a skillful, tough brawler with 20 condition, 20 stamina, and no ability to punch, so he became a boxer to challenge himself. You might not like it, but this is what a giga high testosterone individual looks like, okay? This is what a testosterone fiend, this is what a testosterone god looks like. Jungmin Park, the current Asian champion. Does Makadaev have... He does have 2 belts. He won them off Uwe Gudel. No, he won them off Ivanosaurus. Okay. He won them off Estevanosaurus, not Ivan. Estevanosaurus of Budapest, Hungary, who had these belts for a very long time, had those classic fights against Luis San Eusebio. I always thought he was sort of the weaker cruiserweight champion, though, to be honest. So that's where these belts came from. And now Makoyadov has them. And Park is going to try to take them away. Accurate puncher, takes punishment well. Holes in his game, though. It's 2 weak defensive fighters, and it's a cruiserweight fight. Again, I feel like, I'm sorry, I just feel like Anthony Rios would cook these dudes. I feel like Anthony Rios deserves a title shot. I don't know what I have to do to get him a title shot. I will move Jose Edwards up to this division if I don't get it. You think Jose Edwards cares about light heavyweight? Jose Edwards feels a little too good for light heavyweight at this point to me. Man, if he had ring IQ, he'd be unstoppable. But let's go. Let's go at this cruiserweight fight here. We're still on fast. But that's cool. We get to watch some action. Makoyedov. Pretty slow round one. Park is winning it narrowly, though. Pretty good round one from Park, all things considered. Park piling on rounds here. He's up 4-0. We got to see something from Makoyedov. There's a good round, but he's pretty damaged now. He deals heavy damage to Park. Not a lot of power shots from Makoyedov, but it's a lot of volume there in that last round, and Park is injured for the first time in the fight. Makoyedov's still doing damage to Park, though. Park, does he have good takes punishment? He does. It's interesting. He seems to be taking some punishment from Makoyedov. Park, he's ahead in the fight. Now he's down on energy, Park. It looks like he's got 7 rounds bagged here, so he should be safe. Makoyedov needs some big work here with this energy advantage, and he loses that round. He's going to have to pile it on, go for broke here. Park wins that round, and he's got to clinch the fight with that one. Yeah, they can't possibly have judged that for Makoyedov. And Jongmin Park comes in as the challenger and unseats Artem Makoyedov as the WBA, WBO Cruiserweight World Champion. Both very talented combatants there, but that was a well-earned win by Park. And nice to see a champion lose on a decision. That's always a good sign of fair judging. Gervonta Williams, he doesn't need any upgrades. He's perfect. He doesn't need any upgrades. We don't have to do anything. He's developed. He's 21. He's developed. We're done. We've done all we can. Finished. Over. What does Sarnoy need? I feel like Sarnoy, ring IQ is cool. Punch accuracy at 15 is cooler. I mean, God, 5 takes punishment just sucks. We need to just be able to abuse stick and move. I want 15. Okay, and we can have 12. Fine, yeah. And we can have 12 ring IQ. Buddy, just boost it. Thank you. I don't care. There. 12 ring IQ, 15 punch accuracy. That's pretty much him done developing as well. I wish you could level up the chin, but that's not going to happen. He's going to take some losses, but he's going to keep knocking people out, baby. He might have a pretty early retirement, but he's already 28 also. He seems like a prospect, but he's young. Jesus Cardo is a very special heavyweight. I'm going to put that takes punishment up to 15. Austin Flores needs a lot of work. I'd rather do defense first. Let's just keep on defense. His dedication is 20, so he can develop. He can make good on some of the tools he already has. Darius Mitchell, kind of a tough record, but he's got such a great skill set. This dude could become like the real life Rocky, man. He could come back. The intelligence isn't great, unfortunately. But he could have a comeback and turn into at least a contender. He's got a lot of talent. He's a great puncher. Garcia, no. Flores. Wait. Yeah, let's upgrade Flores' punch accuracy. Let's go, sure. Make him a little craftier, make him a little niftier. We love some good David Flores here. We love some David Flores action around these parts. I want to upgrade Thomas Young's... He's a bantamweight. He's got low intelligence, so let's upgrade the ring IQ to try to compensate for his low intelligence stat. Rigoberto Grant doesn't have anything to upgrade. He's pretty good, man. He's pretty good. Rico Hartman is always absolutely disgusting fighter. Manuel Soto. Got a lot to upgrade here, obviously. Having a brilliant start to the career. Let's just put that ring IQ at 15. Always important. Up that punch accuracy. Good stuff for Soto. Raymond Pena. Raymond Pena can upgrade a lot. Ring IQ. Let's upgrade takes punishment for once. Raymond Pena is going to be fighting a lot higher level here soon. So that's very important. Alexander Wiggins just needs defense, man. Put that defense up from 9 to 11. That's important. And to get that punching power up to 12. Help him knock people out a little quicker. He's a good fighter as is, though. Randy Dale. Eben Rodriguez already with a very big fan base. Wow. 6-0 with 6 knockouts. I guess that's what that does for you. Tempting me to just add that to punching power, and you know what? I think I will. Give him 17 punching power. Give people more what they want. Brian Mitchell. And that sticks out. That punch power needs to go up. And we'll lift the conditioning too. Some good improvements for Brian Mitchell there. Anthony Rios. Nothing can do. Lamont Williams just lost. Let's see if we can help him out. No, unfortunately. He's in a little bit of a tough spot. He's got a good record to back himself up, though. Frankie Edwards could use some punch accuracy. I feel like his conditioning should be better. I kind of picture Frankie Edwards as being like Rocky. Kind of a cardio monster. Built on cardio, but that doesn't reflect the reality. Kind of crazy Andy Fitch has 10 stamina. That's probably part of the reason why he's never won a title. Let's up the conditioning on Fred Morales. There's only so much we can do to Fred Morales. Fred Morales is pretty close to being a perfect fighter. Speaking of pretty close to being a perfect fighter, it's Gabriel McCreary. We can't do much for him either. I'd love to boost his takes punishment. Edwards, nothing. Ramos. Oh, that stamina needs to go up, but that's it. We can't do that. Okay. Cottrell. Nothing. Ervin. Nothing. Seals. There, Seals. Let's raise Seals' take punishment. That's big for those title fights, but again, there's only so much we can do for Tony Seals at this point. He's pretty developed as a fighter. Pretty much is who he is. Gervonta Williams versus Pinchy Henderson, and we're going to start Stephen Ervin versus Mauricio Jake. Let's go to the matchups on the card here. Williams versus Henderson's going to start it off. Mitchell versus Njore. A lot of international fighters on this card. Andy versus Miminoshvili should be a good one. Cottrell versus Vavrin. A couple 4-loss heavyweights. And then Ervin versus Mauricio Jake, who is ranked pretty highly. Not pretty highly. He's in like the teens ranking of a super middleweight, so it could be a good win for unnerving Steve Ervin. Let's get it going. Williams versus Henderson. Henderson, a dangerous fighter. He knocks down Williams up at the count of 6. I think Williams has been knocked down before. It is a heavyweight tilt. Tough to even say he lost that round. He did so much work, but he got knocked down. It's a close round there. Let's go natural style on him. Nervous for Williams' undefeated record here. Do we go to the body or do we pile on pressure? I'm not going to risk going to the body here. I'm just going to say natural style. We win another round. It'd be tough for them to score this fight against us. Pile on pressure, and we win the fight. Okay. Okay. Gervonta Williams gets the job done. He gets it done with a knockout, a clutch round 6 for Gervonta Williams. Other than the knockdown in round 1, he won every round. So just a little scare. Gervonta Williams takes care of business against a game Pitchy Henderson. And here comes Darius Mitchell. Dude, I need to stop doing that. Against a talented fighter from Kenya. Only 4 knockouts on the record, so we can be a little fearless here. Try to initiate action. Try to be that dude. There's a knockdown from George. More action coming forward from Mitchell. Oh, he gets knocked down. It's a knockdown on both sides now. Need to be a little careful. Clearly. We're still winning rounds. We're going to go pile on pressure here in the last round, and we get a knockdown and almost finish the fight. It's a lopsided win for Darius Mitchell, 97-87. That might be even a little unfair to George, who didn't do a bad job. I think maybe even won 3 rounds in the fight, but the judges didn't think so. Edwards versus Said or Saeed. Edwards undefeated, 15-0. I don't like the damage he's taking from Saeed. I guess we pile on pressure. We do more damage than him. Let's stay natural style. He's going to have to fight desperation, but we get the job done and get the knockout. Saeed was very game. He turned that into a fight. He turned that into a back alley scrap, but we still got it done. Punch power really seemed to make the difference there. Low takes punishment, low stamina for both fighters. Slightly higher for us, though, and Edwards 16-0. Maybe starting to show a few little holes in his game, not surprisingly. We see them on his attribute page. And it's Flick the Switch Fitch versus Yago Miminoshvili. This is a big fight for Fitch to get back into contendership here in the super welterweight division. And it's a first-round knockout. He flicks the switch all right. Miminoshvili. It's going to be a cold, lonely flight back to Georgia. And it's not the close Georgia either. And that is a big win for Andy Fitch here. Let's look at his record at super welterweight. Yeah, he has not lost. I didn't think he had. And it's a round 2 TKO and a round 1 TKO. And they have got to be on the lookout for him in this division. I mean, he's got 16 punching power, 18 punching accuracy. He is a really talented puncher and a southpaw with a pretty mighty reach at 76.4. I mean, think about how close that is to an 80-inch reach, really. It's only 3.6 inches short of an 80-inch reach. It's very long arms. And it really shows. He's really talented at super welterweight. I think he's talented at middleweight, too. Congrats on the motorcycle. But it's 2 really quick knockouts here that should put everybody in this division on attention. It's going to be exciting to see where he's ranked. That was a statement win. And it's Kochel versus Vavrin. Speaking of a statement win, this is an overranked heavyweight in Carol Vavrin, in my opinion. I want Kochel to put him in his place. But Kochel, so far, not that good. Let's stick and move. I think we need Kochel to box here because he can. Not the best. All right, let's cover up. And, I mean, now I really feel like I have to go for broke. Because he's really got us damaged and hurt, and that's it. And Vavrin, clearly not an overranked heavyweight. As he really, frankly, smoked Ricardo Kochel. That was a bad performance there from Kochel. And it's almost got me to a point. That was a rough enough performance that I'm sort of back at the Kochel versus Flores 2 thing. Where Flores has been impressing me. He's had a bunch of tough luck losses, other than to Terrence Bell, to good competition. And I just want to see. They had a really good fight last time. It would sell tickets. It would be interesting. And more importantly, it's good for the video. So I think we're going to wait until Ricardo Kochel is no longer injured. And we're going to set him up with a second fight with David Flores. Because at this point, they're heavyweights also that we're just going to have to have some losses on their record. They've both got plenty of losses. So it's not like either of their careers are going to be over if they lose that fight. Jake versus Ervin. This is an incredibly tense and high stakes super middleweight fight at the top of the division with championship level implications and a championship level atmosphere. And Steve Ervin understands that, and he is whooping Mauricio Jake here in the first round. Significant damage already landed halfway through the round. Mauricio Jake standing up and landing at center ring, but Ervin reestablishing control, landing shots. It is Jake who lands the final shots, but that's a clear round win for Ervin, who did a lot of good work there. Jake starts off doing the better work in the second round. It's not much work from Ervin. May have tired himself out a bit there in round 1. Tries to even it back up in round 2. And that's a close round 2. Jake once again starting good at round 3. Back from Ervin. Good exchanging. Couple clean punches from Ervin on Jake. Jake throwing more at Ervin now. Jake getting ahead in the round. Ervin has not provided much volume recently, and now he's taking damage. Jake sensing Ervin a little hurt by his shots, and that's good work from Steve Ervin. Let's switch things up and go to the body here. They were around to do it. It's round 4. I do like to go to the body in round 4. We take big power shots back. We've got to land power shots back. And we need to get out of the pocket. This is not good. Going to the body might have just ended our fight. Ervin needs to throw, and he needs to throw now. He needs to be the aggressor, and he does it there and lands some damage back. That's fortunate for us. And we do get the intended effect of go to the body by limiting his energy, but now we're taking damage. He's just walloping us. And covering up isn't seeming to work. Mauricio Jake chasing the finish. It's just not enough volume from Ervin either. And, I mean, cover up isn't going to help. But that's a disappointing loss. I mean, he had us down. And cover up, you're figuring you're going to land that counter punch. But there was just no volume there from Jake. But round 3 was, from Ervin. Round 3 was equally disappointing, and that's a disappointing loss, man. That would have been a good, impressive win for Steve Ervin, and he doesn't get it. I mean, punching accuracy, and yet another victim of punching accuracy. You got 81 punches in 5 rounds. That's not nothing. But it's disappointing that we couldn't really even challenge him on volume, and Steve Ervin is now sort of falling out of the top 10 in the super middleweight division with back-to-back losses, albeit to equally good fighters. Mauricio Jake and Khapachev are both very talented, very accurate punchers. This is a tough division, and Ervin has a cracked chin, so I don't know, man. I don't know about this. And I don't even know if he's a guy who can move up or down. I think he kind of belongs where he is in terms of weight. They say that a weight change down wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think we're still fights away from that. He'd have a really long reach at middleweight, and he's only 21. He could see a career resurgence, but he also has his ring IQ holding him back, which I think is part of why when we go to the body with him, we get beat up so much. But I was talking all that crap about how they want to let Anthony Reyes fight for a cruiserweight title, and it looks like he is. No, I don't believe this is for a title. No, it's just it's got 2 stars because it's a really high ranking cruiserweight fight, but it is not for a title. Yeah, Anthony Reyes needs to fight for a cruiserweight championship. It really is getting ridiculous. Some of the guys that get to fight for those WBA, WBO cruiserweight belts, and we don't get one look. Kind of ridiculous, man. But it's time for Anthony Reyes versus Robbie Davarin. Raymond Pena versus Caco Pinheiro to start it off. Raymond Pena looking to stay undefeated. Pena big first round. This is going to be a pretty routine win. So we're going to go on fastest, of course. More, more, more. And there's a big round for Pinheiro. We're going to jab and move to try to stay away. We do good work. Back to natural style. He's out of energy. We get a knockdown, and we get the finish. Man, we cut him up, knocked him down, and knocked him out in that round. That was a big, violent round from Raymond Pena. 24 punches, 4 power punches, a knockdown, and a knockout. Very, very good stuff from Raymond Pena, who stays undefeated. Speaking of staying undefeated, Alex Wiggins, let's make this thing short and sweet. Knockdown in the first round. Makes it a battle in the second. We almost get the finish in the third with a big knockdown. He gets up at 8. Teetering, saved by the bell, basically. We're going to keep piling on pressure. He's still in there. It's crazy that this fight isn't over yet. Mitchell somehow still staying in this contest. We got to look for the KO at some point just to increase our odds. Now we'll pile on pressure. He is still alive. This is a one-sided whooping. But Mitchell is still standing in there. Is he going to see the bell? No, sir. Wiggins knocks him down a third and final time, and that's enough. This fight is stopped. And Alexander Wiggins is 8-0. Rigoberto Grant taking on Nicholas Parker, who is not a very smart fighter inside of the ring. So let's just jab and move and make him make wrong decisions. I think that's what we'll do. I mean, I feel like you can make a lot of right decisions against a fighter with 2 ring IQ. He's just going to keep playing himself over and over again. He's completely out of stamina, and we have 68%, 34 punch round for Rigoberto Grant. 34 punches. That is some venomous energy. As McCreary versus McKernan. Pretty high-level welterweight fight. We probably are ranked pretty high above McKernan. I've been talking about a weight change for McCreary. But he gives me a pretty comfortable win there. Against a pretty good puncher, albeit with a pretty empty game otherwise. Kareem Ramos versus Hilvin Guevara. This is a guy with a good record who can beat a guy like us, to be honest with you. He's got a lot of knockouts, 15 knockouts in his 20 wins, just to go with 14 losses. That seems a little tough luck to me. Let's see. He could upset Ramos here. He gets a knockdown in the first round. It's just a flash knockdown. Ramos is up, but that's a round loss. Now Ramos is ahead. We're going to go to the body. And once again, it isn't a good idea. Go to the body has not been working lately. That works, though. Regular style. And now we've only got 1% left. So we're going to go for broke with the energy we have left. And now we're going to have to strategize and plan this fight without energy and probably from behind. It's a good go to the body round. I want a natural style here. He wallops us. And what did we do? We got a knockdown there on pile-on pressure. So we're just going to go for broke here at 0-0 and see if we can manage to steal some kind of decision if we win this round and keep Ramos undefeated. Ramos, I would say, definitely deserves that undefeated record. He's a good fighter, so it would be a little heartbreaking to see him lose it. We have other undefeated guys. He chases the finish, loses on the first scorecard, and loses on the second. So he loses that fight to Guevara by a majority decision and loses his undefeated record. That is a tough pill to swallow there for Kareem Ramos, who has built up quite the following in the welterweight division. But I mean, you can see here what it is. No, that's not really my fault. I didn't really make some kind of like bad strategy call there. His stamina ran out real quick on him in that fight. That 6 stamina, 6 conditioning was not there for my man, and we can't even boost it. So Kareem Ramos, that's might be an unfixable problem with him that will keep him and limit him. That 6 stamina, 6 conditioning is not really something that you can fix or work with. I think it limits his upside, and we found it out the day we looked at his stats, but we just found it out in the ring too. Davarin giving a good challenge to Anthony Rios here in the main event. And this is a fight I would really like to win. We have a cut on our forehead. You know what? Let's go to the body. That's a good decision. I felt like going to the body is actually a good decision when you have a cut. It's a little harder to box from the outside when you have blood in your eyes. Just get in there, get in the gut, and try to make good things happen. Go for broke. Sorry, go to the body again. That didn't work that time. Now we're going to go for broke with Rios. That didn't work either. We're going to look for KO. That also didn't work. We're in trouble here. Cover up. And this is another tough loss, I think. It's a 3rd loss in the career of Anthony Rios. That's disappointing. That fight just kind of got away from us there. It was pretty even and action-packed at the beginning, but then he just kind of took the reins there in the middle rounds. And that's a tough pill to swallow for Rios, who's going to continue to go unnoticed and unheralded despite being a very talented cruiserweight with a long and successful record. And so it also sets up, though, on the positive side, it sets up a 3rd fight between Davarin and Rios where we can prove that we are the better fighter, because I think that we are. So Joaquin Allen going to defend his title and his undefeated record after he beat Christian Famichan against Pal Toth of Budapest, Hungary, a really talented fighter held back by his low takes punishment. Let's see how this goes. Pal Toth can end this fight very, very quickly. He's also a very aggressive fighter. Can he provide a flash in to Joaquin Allen's undefeated record? And it's an 83% KO percentage for Toth pretty much immediately. It's more damage from Hoth, but a round win from Allen in round 2. And Allen gets the win in round 3. That was a race to see who could knock who out the fastest, and Allen won. That was a fun one. That was how a fight should be. And that's going to be Tony Seals versus Jose Salvia with the co-main event of Fred Morales versus Uriel Ayala for the Super Flyweight Championship of North America. Starting off, Ramiro Rodriguez versus Brad Devine. Even first round, Rodriguez takes the lead. Rodriguez now seemingly chasing a finish. Going to the body in round 4 as we like to do, and we get a TKO. Even Rodriguez versus Alex Rodriguez, battle of the brothers. They couldn't possibly be anything but brothers. They must be related. They have the same last name. Natural style. Okay, then. This is just a scrap. Eben is winning. Eben is ahead. He just keeps winning rounds. Let's pile it on. We can maybe get a finish here. Almost. Let's keep piling it on. Natural style. Ooh, we get a KO. Second, we go back to natural style. Eben Rodriguez. 7-0. Still a very special fighter. I think he has pretty bad stamina. Yes, 5 stamina. That is what needs to be improved with Eben Rodriguez if he ever wants to be a heavyweight champion, but he is a very impressive fighter so far. Brian Mitchell, another undefeated youngster trying to keep these guys undefeated after we just lost one of them. And there's a KO. Darius Mitchell, 8-0. Sorry, Brian Mitchell. Not Darius Mitchell, Brian Mitchell. DeRocha. First Kenan DeRocha fight in a while. Can he keep his little knockout streak going? Jevons fighting a good fight so far. And now DeRocha's hunting that good old-fashioned KO. There we go. Excellent work by DeRocha there. And now it's Fred Morales versus Uriel Ayala. That's an even first 2 rounds. Let's watch this fight on fast. I think Fred Morales, 21-0. I really want him to succeed. Bad cut over his left eye. Ayala offering him some trouble, but it's damage from Morales. He continues to throw, continues to damage, continues to march forward. Ayala counterpunching effectively. Overhand rights. A couple big shots back to Morales. Evens up the round. It's a solid 1-2. Morales may have taken the round with that there at the end, but it was very even. As Ayala's done a very good job counterpunching here and landing the bigger shots in the fight. Morales hasn't shown the ill effects yet, but that may start to not be true here. Morales landing a couple shots back and getting into Ayala's range, but it's not quite effective enough. And Ayala takes that round. We are not the bigger fighter here, but we are the better fighter. So let's just stay on natural style for one more round and trust that Fred Morales' talent can keep him safe. It's a good start to the round. He's at least controlling. Now Ayala has a cut over his eye, so things are even in that way. And now Morales starts to land more, and this may be a pile-on pressure scenario. Try to take advantage of that cut. It's good work back from Ayala, but we're still ahead in the fight. Let's pile on pressure for one round. Morales moving forward. Ayala doesn't know how to handle it yet. It's a swarm from Morales. He hasn't done significant damage to Ayala yet, but it's a lot of good punching and a lot of at least volume dealt and a round taken here from Morales soundly. Ayala tried to get back into it at the end there. It didn't work. Morales well ahead on energy. We didn't have to go to the body. We are the smaller fighter, so I wouldn't be completely opposed to going to the body. It just hasn't worked too well recently, and Morales is doing a great job on natural style. We do have the natural skill advantage, so I don't know why we wouldn't just chill out on natural style here. But any fighter can be dangerous when they're on the end of their energy. And Ayala's going to be coming up to that soon, but Morales is continuing to basically tee off on him as he has for the last couple rounds, as Ayala's will to counterpunch here is beginning to fade and wade. And Morales chases the finish, and he gets the finish there in round 8, and the new North American Super Flyweight Champion, Fred Morales. Man, Fred Morales, 22-0 with 21 knockouts. What a special super flyweight. What a talented fighter we have on our hands here, and it's time for the real deal to go to work. This should have been the co-main. That Morales event should have been the main event, but Tony Seals versus Jose Salvia. It's not a bad fight. We're going to watch it on fastest. Hopefully that ring IQ difference does not screw us. I highly expect that Salvia is going to win some rounds, and it's only a 10-rounder. We win a round there. I'm not messing around. We're going to pile on pressure. And he liked that, unfortunately. He's a bit of a counterpuncher with that ring IQ. There's a close fight. Let's go to the body. He's making this thing dirty. It's still just close. It's too close for my comfort. He also has the size advantage on us. We're a better puncher than him. We're too damaged to plant our feet. Let's just natural style for now. And then hope that we can afford to plant our feet here at some point. That's not good. I'm not sure what to do here. I think we do plant our feet now. We've got him on 82%. I want to be able to land here. And we do land. That was a good idea. We're going to pile on pressure now, and I might plant my feet in the last round as well. Yeah, we're going to... Yeah. I'd rather plant my feet than go for broke. I want to knock him out. This is such a close fight. We might lose this one too. This might be another heartbreaker. This isn't really a fight that Seals has an excuse to lose. He really needs to win this one. He does good work in the last round, 95-95, and it's a draw. Okay, I'll take that. We escape with a draw. It's not the end of the world. It's not great, but we could have lost that fight. I'm not happy with a draw. It doesn't really improve our standing in the division, but we're still the North American champion. He's still 24 years old, and it doesn't really seem like he took worse damage than he's already taken anyway. His chin is still completely untouched. He's got 0 fitness, though, so he's going to have to wait before he fights again. But, you know, all of his losses are pretty understandable and to pretty good fighters, actually. Yeah, his 3 losses are all completely understandable. So he's still the real deal. He's still the real deal. That was one of his worst nights in the professional ring. He was supposed to win that fight, and he got a draw. Wiggins, that's very concerning. He doesn't want to re-sign, and we don't have him signed for a fight, so we're going to have to remember that and hope that we don't lose him after his next fight, because his contract is just going to end, and we might lose him. Can Rico Hartman get a new contract? Yes, he can. We'll give Rico Hartman a 5 fight. I'm impressed with him so far. And let's just do this event before we schedule more. This is a very small event. From the New York Activity Center. Max Rice versus Oscar Ramirez. Hell yeah. There's people playing a racquetball. There's a mini golf course. You can hear the people playing ping pong in the other room. Do they have like a little room for the kids with like a GameCube and like a TV? Is it like a rec center? Is it like a community center? Because Jesus Cardo just knocked a dude out in it. Austin Flores, our worst fighter, who of course, because I'm a great boxing manager, has an undefeated record with nothing but knockouts. You can be blah, 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 Morgan, it's only 2 fights. Shush. Well, you know, we said Austin Flores was our worst fighter, and he just went and proved it by getting knocked out by a 5-14 dude. We signed him as an amateur, and that's why he's here. I'm just saying. I know that that's insulting, but I'm trying to insult him. He's not that good. Sarnoy, dominating this guy. There we go. Sarnoy doesn't like losing. Sarnoy's sick of losing. It's always good to see him win. Stop doing that. Speaking of heavyweights, it's good to see win. And Oscar Garcia with a very easy win there. That wasn't difficult at all. Randy Dale, Jose Berto. This might be a little bit of a challenging fighter. It'll be one of those things where, like, If Randy Dale loses this fight, we're just looking real hard at a weight change because this is a guy he really should be beating. Nice. Really good body work there by Randy Dale to wear down Berto, and now he's got all the energy to play with. Berto does a little damage there on us, has a really good round. We need to just push the pace. We can't push the pace. We keep losing when we try. That's frustrating. We get a round win there. What do we do? I mean, go to the body works so well, but it doesn't make any sense. Pile on pressure should be getting us inside. It's not really working that well. But I'd say we're winning the fight. We'll stick with pile on pressure. And we get a knockdown and a knockout. Okay, so it works there. Randy Dale, that was a little tough. That was a little tough. I'm still thinking about a weight change for Randy Dale, to be honest, but that will come with a loss, and depending on the quality of said loss, Max Rice ahead on Oscar Ramirez. This has been pretty easy work so far for Rice. And there's the knockout in the 5th. Max Rice with his 20th win of the year. And we've got an undisputed, Bakara versus Soar. The trilogy. Oh, man. Is this next weekend? No, it's in 3 weeks, unfortunately. We've got Luis Rodriguez defending his undisputed title against Ibuki Endo. I'm going to skip this one. I'm just going to skip. We're going to do scheduling, and I'm going to skip until the that undisputed fight. All right, so here's the events we made. First off, Gabriel McCreary versus Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams is a very high-ranked welterweight who I think we can beat. Not even as big as us either. We have a size advantage in that one and a skill advantage. Seals versus Gerald Cruz. Similarly, I just think he's better. Tony Seals needs a bounce back after that draw. Lamont Williams is going to fight this guy. I think that should be a win for Lamont. Then we have what should be easy wins down the card there. Fitch versus Istvan Szelle. Let's look at Istvan Szelle. He's a pretty highly ranked super welterweight despite 20-11 record. He's a pretty good puncher, but that's the only thing that he does better than Fitch, and Fitch is not a bad puncher by any means at all. Szelle is very oversized, though, 6 feet tall at super welterweight. Max Rice versus Juan Armando Moran. That should be a good win for Max Rice, hopefully. Manuel Soto with the first real challenge of his career, probably against Kerry Ramirez, who can knock anybody out and has a lot of stamina. Rico Hartman's going to face Danny Butcher. That should be an easy fight. Gervonta Williams is going to face Harlan Rankin, who has faced many of our guys before. And Dimash Sarnoy is going to get another challenge. He's a tough Mexican in Ramiro Chavez because I like challenging Dimash Sarnoy for no reason other than him being tall, which I would assume is just the reason for everything because he is, in fact, very tall. Frankie Edwards, 20-1, getting a rematch against Wesley Jackson, who beat him in a 9th round technical knockout. Wesley Jackson, one of those guys who in the future I expect to be fighting for titles if he has not already. He hasn't, but that's because he's run into tough luck against top guys in the division like Frankie Edwards, who, I'm sorry, I just said Frankie Edwards lost to Wesley Jackson. Frankie Edwards beat Wesley Jackson by a knockout. So this is actually a rematch for Wesley Jackson, not Frankie Edwards. My mistake. Rigoberto Grant, we're going to give him a showcase there, second on the card. Wiggins also, Garcia, and there's all the other fighters we're going to try to get easy wins. DeRocha versus Bustamante. It's low-key actually a ranked bantamweight fight way down on this card. But that's how it works sometimes with those ranked fighters with a lot of losses. Sorry about getting confused over who won. Jackson versus Edwards won. I'm not that surprised that it was, in fact, Edwards. I'm a big Raskar Wood guy. I always like watching Raskar Wood fight. And he's got a rematch here for his IBF title that he lost. So we're going to watch that. I don't really care about this super flyweight title, even if it is a good fight. And it might be a belt that we can fight for in the near future with Morales. Because I will take any belt at all, man. I will take any belt. We got our 100th loss. Hangs head in shame. And it's Joseph Antoine Champion, the current champion, versus Raskar Wood. Round 1, can Wood get his belt back and set up a trilogy? No. Antoine Champion is whooping him. Champion took that personally. Oh, big round from Wood. Wood's like, no, you're not the champion. He's like, no, I am the champion. My name's literally Champion. And Champion pushes him to the brink and then knocks him down, and Wood is still in there. It was a flash knockdown, but Wood was already so damaged when it happened. It's hard to believe he's still in this fight. Champion looking to defend. Wood with more damage. Who even won? Was it Champion? It was Champion. Wood doing some really good work there, but it was ultimately just Champion whose chin held up better. That was another very action-packed fight, another race to the finish style fight. Sor versus Bakara. Sor versus Bakara 3. Here we go. Sor 32-2. Let me see. Who are Sor's losses again? I'm just curious. Lore check. One is to Bakara, one is to Jordan Garvey. He beat Jordan Garvey twice, and now he's trying to avenge Sonny Bakara again. Can he set right what is wrong permanently? Bakara with a huge 19-0 first round. And Sor back in the third, but it's a big fourth from Bakara. Bakara is 2-1 out punching Sor. We have seen Sor pull it out of the fire before, but that was a big round from Bakara. Good start from Bakara. Sor, he's able to do so much damage with those power shots, though. As Bakara has done so much more work, thrown so many more punches over the last couple of rounds, but just with a few power shots, only 2 power shots, 18 scoring punches, but 2 power punches. Sor manages to get that TKO percentage all the way up to 75. They're still both very heavily damaged fighters. They're going to go at it, and Sor is going to get the finish to the surprise of pretty much nobody. That punch accuracy, that ability to punch, it's boxing. Punching ability really matters, and every one of those power punches clearly hurt a lot worse than anything Bakara was throwing back at Sor. And Sor and new undisputed world super bantamweight champion. And now, this is one hell of a fight. Joshua Martinez Morales, one of the best fighters alive. Who did he lose to? This dude, Elias Benitez and Glenn Darup. Who knows who those guys are? They must have something to their game because they beat Joshua Martinez Morales, who is a very special bantamweight. He's the WBO Bantamweight Championship, attempting to unify with all of these belts that Murillo has, WBC, WBA, and IBF, and the Ring Magazine has decided to throw in. Say that whoever wins this is their champion as well. Murillo with big wins over Galvez Luna, Jorge Cruz, Ever Galvin, one of the more impressive Central and South American fighters. 2 31-year-olds going at it for every bantamweight strap. Actually, it is every bantamweight strap, but it is not the Ring Magazine. So I guess the Ring Magazine, he just doesn't care about bantamweight, maybe? I have no idea. Morales with a good round. Lots of damage on Murillo. Murillo's going to need to either provide some volume back in response or cover up and try to survive. And he does cover up and survive there. But Martinez Morales is still providing all the volume. So many punches from Morales, especially at the end of these rounds. He just piles it on at the end. It's a miracle Murillo is still in. I doubt he will be for much longer. He tries to stand on his shield there in the 10th round. He probably wishes that this was only a 10-round fight because he's about to get stopped in the 11th or 12th. Nope, not even. It's only the 10th, and it's Joshua Martinez Morales, who is the new WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO bantamweight champion of the world, basically undisputed. He versus Suyano, that looks like a China versus Japan title fight there. No, versus Indonesia. Suyano is from Indonesia, not Japan. My apologies. Even though he is, in fact, a fictional character. We have a couple fights coming up next week. Amparan versus Sanchez. Once again, is this a rematch? No, sir. This guy beat Gabriel McCreary, interestingly enough. Ariel Sanchez. Fighting Edgar Amparan. Has he beat any of our fighters? No, but he beat Michael Carl. He's got a hell of a track record in this division. 22-0 at 31. Yeah, I think he's the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, if I remember looking at the pound-for-pound rankings recently. So let's see how he does. Probably good. As Soto gets a punch accuracy boost. That's awesome. Let's see if Ariel Sanchez can stand up to Amparan. They both have 20 professional knockouts, so they can both switch the lights off real quick. But it's Amparan who's a lot closer to doing that right now, and he does in round 3. He's too good. He is too good. I mean, his attributes might not, but man, when he's not defending, he's punching. Like his defense is low. Well, then he doesn't have the defense. He just punches. That sounds like a better plan to me. And it's he versus Soriano. Zhu Biao He also an undefeated fighter, and he has a crazy record here at featherweight of knocking off very worthwhile challengers after a move up from super bantamweight, a division where I imagine he was very large. Pretty slow first round. Soriano takes it by the reins. He and Soriano even. He and Soriano still even. He in the lead. He dominating. And he with the knockout. 26-0 for Zhu Biao He. I shudder at the thought of Fred Morales not having a contract with us. We need you, Fred. Let's see if Fred can fight for a title. I'm just always curious. Nope. I mean, you're just going to keep sleeping on him, huh? His top fight is ranked 22nd. You know what? That's all the better because he'll have some sick record by the time he actually gets the title contention. He'll be like 40-0 or something, and it'll be totally badass. It'll be like he came out of nowhere, and be like, "Oh my god, who is this guy? He's 40-0. That's crazy." That's exactly what it'll. That's exactly what they'll all say. There's just nobody. There's only one guy in the top 20 for Fred. But we also have Cottrell versus Flores, I believe, to set up. Where is Ricardo Cottrell for David Flores? I know you're in here. I know you're in here. Where is he? There he is. So we're going to create this main event, heavyweight main event between David Flores and Ricardo Cottrell. Another heavyweight main event between our boys. A second fight between them. Settle the score. Can't believe I would have to check who won the first fight. Can't believe I don't remember. It was, in fact, Ricardo Cottrell who won the first fight. Wow. And we booked Ricardo Cottrell versus David Flores as I promised. It's going to be a big fight in the careers of both fighters. Again, they can both afford to lose, but a win against the other would be a boost to the career of either fighter. So it's a good time for it. Once again, the same exact height, the same exact reach, two peas in a pod. We signed them at the exact same time. And they do, in fact, have. No. Flores has one more fight than Cottrell. Cottrell is more knockout happy. Flores is, I'd argue, the better fighter and definitely the harder luck fighter, who's had the harder breaks during his career. Morales will be defending his super flyweight title against Sergio Lucio Perez, who is a top 20 super flyweight in the world, as Morales still continues to find people who actually want to fight him in this weight class, as he has just absolutely rolled over everybody. And Lucio Perez was the only top 20 matchup that we had, unfortunately. Edwards versus Carlos Delgado. This is just a top level fight. Edwards already eligible to fight a top 10 light heavyweight in the world. This is a top 10 light heavyweight fight here between Edwards and Delgado. By far the biggest challenge of Edwards' career and my favorite fight on this card. We're going to find out a lot about Jose Edwards. And then Steve Ervin with a bounce back fight, hopefully against Justin too, who he should be able to knock out fairly easily. And Thomas Young, a tough fight against Guadalupe Martinez, who has a bad record, but he can do plenty of stuff well. And Austin Flores, if he loses this fight, we're just going to cut him from the promotion. I can't click on it. And now it's time for Gabriel McCreary versus Brandon Williams, the undercard, after your boy gets a drink. First fight of the night, Raymond Pena versus Rudy Pierre Howe. Let's see Raymond Pena get another win. He somehow has not won this fight yet. 2 knockdowns in round 1. Pena continued to pile on. And it's a knockdown from Howe. So we'll just take it off pile on pressure. That's as much as I'm willing to compromise. And there is a knockout by Raymond Pena. Rodriguez versus Lopez here. And a knockout from Rodriguez. I didn't even get a chance to commentate that fight. It barely got started. Just a couple minutes into round 2. Even Rodriguez lands a big right hand and knocks out Lopez. And Brian Mitchell versus Tona here from Pretoria, South Africa. This is a very easy fight for Mitchell. Tona is not very good. Let's just see Mitchell get the finish here. I'm going to look for the KO. Don't think we're in any danger standing in front of him. Pile on pressure. I'll just plant our feet after that. Just to do anything we can to get the KO. And we do. It takes 4 rounds. Brian Mitchell. Lamont Williams, a bit of a tough fight here against Demetrio Kariahanaara, who can punch. Who can punch a bit. Good damage from Williams. Let's go to the body. I want Williams to get inside. I want Williams to find the inside. Keep finding it. There we go. Good couple rounds of work from Williams. Ara with a bunch of cuts opened up on him, but he lands some punches in that round. And big work from Ara in that round. Let's jab and move, try to stay away. It's an even round. We're still, I think, winning this fight. Action-packed rounds there. You gotta think we're ahead. It's a real tough fight to score. We're gonna pile on pressure here. And it's another close final round. Judge 1 scores it for us. Judge 2, it's a little narrower, but that's a unanimous decision win for Lamont Williams. We take that. We will take that. Not too bad. The supporting bout, Tony Seals, North American Regional Middleweight title against Gerald Cruz. Not the hardest opponent in the world. Not the best puncher in the world. When in doubt, we can just stand in front of this dude, probably. He has a good round there. Another good round there. We're doing perfectly fine here on natural style. He's got a lot of damage now. It's a good round for him there. Uh-oh. Let's cover up just to be sure. Yeah, I feel like he can't really beat us on cover up. Back to natural style, which has worked okay. Another good round for Seals. And now let's go natural style one more. We can just... We survived that flurry, and now we can just pile on the pressure. Because he is tired. Uh-oh. That doesn't do it. We use all of our energy. Big last round. I'm going to jab and move in this final round. Just try to stay safe. We lose the round. Judge 1 scores it for us, and we escape with a narrow unanimous decision when he definitely fought a good fight, a good tactical fight. He refused to go away. He refused to lose. And he kept, landing damage on us with those heavy rounds. And he won a lot of rounds at the end of the fight. But he definitely didn't do enough to take our belt away. He definitely did not do enough to win the belt by decision. I don't know if that's going to impress anybody, Tony Seals. I don't know if that really helps him do much in the division. This could really help McCreary in the division. And if he loses this fight, a guy with this little, with just, this bad of defense, frankly mediocre puncher and smaller than him, if McCreary loses this fight, that's a pretty good example that he probably needs a change up to super welter because he's pretty big for a welterweight. And he's shown knockout power. So, also his takes punishment is low, so moving up to super welterweight would ideally improve that. It's an action-packed first round. Another loss in that round for McCreary. Some good pressure work from McCreary there, finding his distance, finding his range. He wins round 4. Round 5 goes to Williams. We might be behind a little in this fight. That round starts good for Williams. We're going to slow this down. That round starts good for Williams, and we come back to end the round. We have a bad cut over our left eye. It's going to be one more natural style round, but it's a good start for Brandon Williams, who's piling it on. Big shots from McCreary, though. Williams connects. Williams with more shots, landing combinations. McCreary now injured. The more damaged fighter by far. And Williams is in the lead in this fight. And I would say this is the point where we box on him. This is the point where we jab and move. We're going to stick it on fastest for that because it makes me nervous. And we do a good job. We'll go back to natural style one more round, and then we're going to pile on pressure in the last round if I have anything to say about it. But it's power shots for Williams. He's opening up more cuts on our face. It's more power shots for Williams. Finally, McCreary landing back, but Williams is easily in control of this round. Now McCreary's starting to stand up and throw shots, but it's a huge round for Williams. Big shot to the head for McCreary, doing heavy damage. And yeah, I think we go for broke, to be honest with you. I think we go for broke. Goodbye, welterweight division, if this doesn't go right. McCreary landing on us, and we get a knockdown. That might swing the cards in our favor. Williams is up. We're going to keep going for broke for the last minute and a half with very little energy. We are at risk here still. McCreary with a good combination. It's a power shot back. A big counter punch from McCreary doing big damage to Williams. Both fighters are damaged and they go out swinging. What a fight. 95-94, 95-94, 95-94 for the winner. Pulling it out of the fire with that knockdown. Gabriel McCreary. Man, has this man provided us some entertainment. What a blood and guts warrior Gabriel McCreary is in the welterweight division. And I still am thinking about moving him up. He can only change down. I'd really love to change him up. Changing him down, he'd be really powerful. He'd also be way too big. What would he even be? A super lightweight? That's crazy. He's not a super lightweight. He's way too big for that. And is that Luis Masso versus Joe Hoon? It is. These guys fought before? Oh, this is a super fight, huh? Oh, no, this is a super fight. This is like Pacquiao versus De La Hoya or something. This is a super fight, huh? Masso is the master of super welterweight. The Daniel Scott wins. Jovanovic, Salinas, he's done a great job defending these super welterweight titles. But here comes Joe Hoon. Just one of the all-time great super welterweights. Back from the dead, he lost his belts to Daniel Scott, who then had that trilogy with Masso, and now he has come back from the grave. Man, this has got to be one of the most hyped up fights ever. What a super hype fight. And then you've got Yeliza versus Manigo also. And this crazy strawweight fight. So we've got 3 title fights coming up. Stop me if you heard that one before. But it's a trilogy of title fights and our own event next week. So we'll be back for that one in a brief moment. That's going to kick ass. And we have a Fighter of the Year announcement. Should be a surprise to nobody. Edgar Amparan has one Fighter of the Year. Of course, the undefeated fighter and the undisputed welterweight champion. 5 belts, including the ring. 2 victories over Michael Carl in the year, and a victory over Ariel Sanchez, 2 by knockout, that classic majority decision over Michael Carl. Yeah, what a fighter he has proven to be. So many great wins on the record and a lot of knockouts over a lot of impressive competition. Edgar Amparan already really has established himself as a great fighter. It'll be interesting to see if he moves weight during his career, but he is about as good as fighters get. It's just the intelligence and maybe the stamina and the defense holding him back, but I honestly like that 11 defense and 9 aggression, man. It just works with that to go with the punching ability and the ring IQ. He's a talented and a special fighter. It's going to be hard to knock him off that welterweight perch. All right, time for these big title fights, starting with Masso versus Hoon, of course. Round 1, one of the biggest fights in super welterweight history, probably the biggest. An absolute super fight here. And it's a blast of a first minute. 16 punches in the first minute, going back and forth. Hard to say who even has the better of the exchanges. They are exchanging. Hoon now taking a bit of a lead. Masso delivers a punch back, but Hoon with a big shot to the head. Masso with a cut under his eye, and that is a crazy first round. It's a big shot from Masso on Hoon. Hoon is ahead in this fight and significantly damaging Masso. Those big power shots are really getting through. And Hoon with a flurry to end the round as well. Masso enters the round damaged. It's a slow pace to the first minute of the round, which benefits Masso at least a bit. Hoon now at 50% damage. Hoon now with a cut under his eye. It's good work so far from Masso, obviously. See the damage on Hoon's face. More forward pressure from Masso. More landing from Masso. And that's really good work from Luis Masso there, not going down without a fight. As he now has Hoon the more damaged fighter, but Hoon with a good start to round 4. Masso backed against the ropes with Hoon landing punches. Masso lands a big counter punch, not big enough. As Hoon hits him back. Now Hoon catches a big punch from Masso. Not as action-packed of a round. Only 9 punches to 8, but it's big shots from Masso to start round 5. Hoon not quite in trouble, but Masso in the lead of the fight here and connecting. Masso with more big punches comboing off on Hoon. Hoon not throwing much. Hoon needs to cover up. Hoon needs to protect. Hoon needs to counterpunch. And Luis Masso. Tremendous stuff there. Big round from Hoon. Big work back from Masso. Hoon and Masso very even. Masso piling forward. Oh, and it's a knockout from Hoon. Off the back foot, Masso gets back up, and now we've got a fight. He was starting to lull me to sleep there. Hoon did so much early damage in the fight, and it's been such a lull here in the middle rounds. He's still down on energy. He's still closer to being knocked out, but Hoon with a big knockdown. It may come pretty close to evening up this fight on the cards. And now Masso damaged. Hoon doing good work following his knockout. He's controlled the ring, it feels like, in the majority of rounds. Masso has had to counterpunch, but he's done a fantastic job and has worked off those counterpunches as well. And it's another knockdown for Hoon at the end of round 8. But Masso gets back up very quickly. Again, 2 flash knockdowns for Hoon, but he's scoring big points here. This is going to be a crazy scorecards if it goes to the scorecards. It'll be fascinating to see what happens if this goes to the scorecards. I watched this fight on Fast for a reason instead of Fastest. I sniffed a classic, and we've got one. Masso in trouble. Hoon has seen it out and persevered like a true champion. Hoon with the heart of a lion here. Both combatants down to the dregs of their energy. It's Hoon still moving forward here. Masso needs to find some of that juju from the middle rounds. Some of that good old-fashioned moxie. and pull it out here. But it's big shots from Hoon, who's piling on, trying to get the finish. Oh, not quite. He landed big shots at the end. He almost had Masso stopped. But it's 2 more rounds to chase a finish here against the damaged and now probably behind in the fight Luis Masso. But fortunately for Masso, Hoon is out of energy. Masso trying to be the aggressor here to start the round. His nickname's got to be Macho, right? Macho Luis Masso. And it's a big 11th round for Masso, for the Macho Man himself, for Randy Savage himself. The Spanish Randy Savage, Luis Masso. But look at Joe Hoon coming back, giving him another round. Again, it's going to be a tough fight to score. I've got it for Hoon easily. He dominated the early rounds. Masso was tremendous in the middle rounds. He had a good round in round 11 there. But it's another damaging round for Joe Hoon. A little work back from Masso. Masso wins it with a flurry, but it's a big round 12 for Hoon, and it's a wide first scorecard, and more wide scorecards coming in for the winner and new WBC IBF Super Welterweight title holder, Joe Hoon. And that was great work by Joe Hoon. That was a great fight. He saw it through from the beginning to the end. He really battled. And Masso made him work. Masso with a couple knockdowns did some great work there. He basically won 5 rounds in a row there with the knockdowns. Because he wins this round. Oh, no, sorry. He knocked him down here and here. So he won this round, too. He did not win round 3 or round 5. My apologies. But he did get plenty of round wins. He won that round big. He won that round big. He won that round big with a knockdown. And he got 2 knockdowns, so he won that round, too. So he definitely won a lot of rounds in the fight, but it wasn't enough. And he didn't pile up enough points like Joe Hoon did. And we've got 2 more title fights today. How about that? Festo Uliza versus Joseph Manigo. This sounds like a familiar matchup. I'm sure it's happened before. It has. Only once. And Uliza won by knockout. Manigo. Has he been a super featherweight the whole time? He has. He is one of the best super featherweights of all time. A 2-time champion and a long-time defending champion the first time he had the belt. Classic. Was it a trilogy here against Caballero? No, just a duology. 2 fights against Caballero that he lost. Classics, though. And a classic against Imai that he won. So Manigo, a beloved fighter of the same and one of the best fighters in the world against Festo Uliza, his rival. Let's do it. The big rematch. And it's a huge first round from Uliza. Manigo's going to have to find his offense. He is an offense-first fighter. That's a dominant performance by Festo Uliza. Festo Uliza just made a statement there. Repping Masasi, Tanzania. That was fantastic. He's now beaten Joseph Manigo 2 times. No question who the champion is there. Where is Festo Uliza? Super Feather? There he is. Festo Uliza. Yeah, some impressive wins on the record for sure. A trilogy against Guiyao Yang that he won 2 of 3. And then Gino Lesher, Roman Gonzalez, Famichan, and now Manigo twice. And who is the other super featherweight champ? Let's see. Joaquin Allen. Yes, that's right, at 28-0. That'd be an interesting super fight as well. And now we've got a strawweight title fight between this guy, Visetkit from Bangkok, Thailand, who is 14-0. His first world title fight, he was a former Asian champion, beat Martin Davila. And Eliseo Soto from Mexico, who beat Song Kumpen Wang twice. That's right. Yes, Wang versus Soto. We remember those fights. So Soto defending his belt against Visetkit. Tough name to pronounce. Soto. Tight first round. Good second round for Soto. Visetkit ahead in the next 2 rounds, and a third good round for Visetkit. He's up 4-1 right now. Soto needs to find something. And Visetkit pouring on. He does not want to lose that undefeated record. And Soto now on the ropes. Do we have a new revelation? Revelation in the strawweight division with Visetkit. I had so many rounds in the fight, but that was a huge round from Soto. But Visetkit still has more of the energy and is ahead. It's another good round. And then a knockdown there for Visetkit. Yeah, Soto's in a lot of trouble here. He needs a miracle in the last round to win it. And he doesn't get it. Visetkit gets the knockout. And he just put a show on and made a statement in the strawweight division. There is a new force in the strawweight division. And we've got a big event tonight. Andy Fitch versus Istvan Szelle. It starts with Dimash Sarnoy. Gervonta Williams versus Hylon Rankin. Rico Hartman versus Danny Butcher. Soto versus Kerry Ramirez. Max Rice versus Juan Armando Moran. And Andy Fitch versus Istvan Szelle in a very high-ranking matchup in the super welterweight division. We have been singing the praises of Andy Fitch so far at super welterweight. He's done very well. Let's see if Sarnoy can do very well here in the heavyweight division and use that long reach to rack up more wins. We're going to need to do it now as he's damaged in the first 2 rounds. Not a great third from Sarnoy either. Continuing with natural style. Sarnoy needs to pile on here. And there's a big round. We're just going to go pile on pressure. This has been a pretty crazy heavyweight fight so far. Sarnoy, it's another decent round there. We're out of energy. And then we get knocked down in the last round, but we score a lot of points, but it's not good enough. And Sarnoy is now 9-4. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that decision. It was kind of a boring fight. He got knocked down twice. He did a lot of damage, though. But he ran out of energy. Go away. But he ran out of energy incredibly quickly. He's not taking punishment well either. He's a very big fighter, but I think the take punishment is really what's holding him back. And I'm getting close to cutting Dimash Sarnoy because he's obviously huge. He can't go down. His chin is cracked. He's got 9 knockouts and 9 wins. So he's still an entertainer, and he's still a great puncher, and he's still big. So it's hard to cut him, but he does, in fact, keep losing. 9-4 is not a great record. Williams undefeated against Hylon Rankin here. This would be an easy one for Gervonta Williams. Touche. It took 51 seconds, 6 punches. Gervonta Williams, 6-0. He is putting the entire heavyweight division on notice. He is the best heavyweight prospect we have ever had. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. 6'3". I mean, I guess that's a little small for a heavyweight nowadays, but he's just been a beast. He's killing everybody. Look at that. 3 first round knockouts. And I need to stop stuttering because I'm sure that this clip is going to go on his legend profile when we make a legend profile on Gervonta Williams one day, because he really is that good, and he's already putting the whole division on notice. Rico Hartman versus Danny Butcher. This will be a fun one. Hartman off to an early lead. A good second round from Hartman. Still doing big damage. And we're going to go to the body. Hope that works. It doesn't at all. We're going to jab and move and actually use Hartman's size, hopefully. We're still taking way too much damage. I need Hartman not to lose this fight. Stop that. Uh-oh. I don't like this at all. Cover up and counterpunch. We're just taking way too much damage. And there's a big round. That's a big, important round from Hartman. He covers up, uses that distance, and lands effective work. And it's not a good round from Danny Butcher, who has 9 knockouts. So he's just doing his job trying to get us out of there. Those power shots from him are effective, but instead it's us who gets the stoppage in round 8. And that was a very good performance there from Rico Hartman to go to 10-1. Soto versus Kerry Ramirez. Soto 7-0. As Soto piles on and gets the finish, 8-0 for Manuel Soto. And it's Rice versus Moran. And it's a great finish for Rice. And there's the finish. Max Rice. 21-5-2. And it's Fitch versus Szelle. And that's a disappointing first round. We need Andy Fitch to win this freaking fight. Okay. Let's go back to natural style. He is just taking way too much damage. And I don't like it. We're just getting out-punched. I need him to pile on pressure because I need him to throw punches. Andy Fitch disappointing me right now. There's a knockdown. That's what we want to see. Go to work there from Fitch. And let's jab and move. Let's make him follow us. While he's stuttered and broken. And that didn't work. He did a good job following us around. We're going to go back to pile on pressure because it worked the first time. We're just going to sit on the button because it's working. And Andy Fitch gets the finish. Andy Fitch gets the finish just from me spamming pile on pressure. If I would have used natural style, he would have just lost there. He lost most of those rounds. I'm afraid to even look at the scorecards. It was even, apparently. Maybe even once he got the knockdown. I think he was losing that fight, but Andy Fitch pulls one out of the bag in front of the home crowd, and he is still undefeated at super welterweight, and that is encouraging stuff from Andy Fitch, I guess. It wasn't the best performance in the world. Let's be real. Sosa and Gomes are going to go at it again. The whole world trembles in anticipation. That's going to be another crazy fight. Do we have anybody up in 1 million fans? Just curious. I see a lot of guys up at the hundreds of thousands. Seals is 1 million. Yeah, Seals is our first 1 million fan fighter. Big moment in the save. Look at Tony Seals go. 1 million fans for Tony the Real Deal Seals. How about that? And it's Sosa versus Gomes in a title fight. And it's Castro fighting this week, too, as well. He is against Jose Antonio Gomes of Mexico, who has lost to Douchwai in an earlier title shot in his career. Maybe not the strongest opponent for Castro, but we'll get there when we get there. We'll get there when we get there. Sosa versus Gomes. And it is a knockout for Emerson Gomes almost immediately. I didn't even have time to build up the context of that fight. So we're going to go to the news story about it if we can find it. All right, let's go to results. Uh-oh. Dude, what the hell? World, there. Emerson Gomes, KO Gonzalo Sosa. Let's look at the fight history between these two. It was the second fight. How you like that? How you like that? Sosa won the first one with a round 4 knockout, and then Gomes flatlined him in round 1. How good do you think that felt for Emerson Gomes? Man, oh man. How good do you think that knockout felt for Gomes? Yeah, we got to get a trilogy now. We got to get a trilogy now between Sosa and Gomes. Those two do not like each other at all. That is one heck of a rivalry. And Castro versus Gomes. Castro should be able to take care of business here. Best super flyweight in the world without a doubt. Good first round from Gomes. You see that sometimes, but it's a huge second round from Castro. Stand up, Martin Castro, 22-0. Him and Fred Morales are destined for one another. They have the same record. They're both 22-0 with 21 knockouts. It's a match made in heaven. I want to see that fight so bad. I'd make that fight tomorrow. I'm going to just get overly greedy and make that fight the minute that I see it. The minute I see it available, I'm jumping on that thing like a grenade. Cardo versus Matabella. DeRocha's going to get an easy win. Rodriguez, who is this guy? Might be a little bit of a challenge for Rodriguez. Garcia, kind of an easy fight. Wiggins, same deal. Rigoberto Grant is basically getting a showcase, and then Frankie Edwards versus Wesley Jackson is going to be a banger from the depths of hell. It's going to be an awesome fight. 6'4" middleweight Wesley Jackson. Move up. Gigantic middleweight. And Jesus Cardo puts away Matabella in the first round. An easy win there. Can DeRocha keep his knockout streak alive? Let's just look for KO. It is Keenan DeRocha. Hey, there's a knockdown. We almost get it. Let's pile on pressure. Not quite. Pretty bad round there from DeRocha. We try to go inside and Bustamante hits us, and then we go back out to range and just start piecing him up. And DeRocha with his 19th win and his 19th knockout. Love to see it. Ramiro Rodriguez against Mike Burrell, tough puncher who doesn't have great physical resistance. So I think going to the body on this guy early would be a good idea. And he's down at 20% in the second round. And we can just pile on, and that's a pretty easy win for Ramiro Rodriguez. Chop that guy down like a tree. And it's Garcia versus Mike Bredican, a smart fighter. Might be a tough matchup. It's a good first round for Bredican. Close second round, Bredican might have won. Garcia's got to get back in this fight. He's got the physical advantage on Bredican, clearly. Let's take advantage of that. Go to the body worked in the last fight. Didn't really work that well there. This has been a tough fight for Garcia. Bredican finding ways to win rounds. There's good offense there from Garcia. We need to continue that trend. Garcia pouring on, piling forward. And there goes Oscar Garcia. Another win there for him. Wiggins looking to go to 9-0. Maybe the biggest challenge of his career. A tough Mexican and Brian Bustos, but off to an early lead, and this just seems like it's easy work for Wiggins, yeah. Wiggins, a pretty effortless victory there over Brian Bustos. And now Rigoberto Grant's showcase fight against Morris Mayfield. This may very well be the last fight of this episode. Or rather, the last event. The Frankie Edwards fight will be the final fight. And Rigoberto Grant gets a win, and this has been a pretty comfortable event, full of wins so far. Very comfortable Frankie Edwards on a long win streak as well, with a good first round there against Wesley Jackson. Let's get Frankie Edwards into his natural environment of piling on pressure. That didn't work too well. Let's go back to natural style. Another good round for Jackson. Let's go to the body. Yeah, Jackson's winning this fight right now. Edwards needs to box. Jackson is just piling on the volume. We're going to cover up. If Jackson wants to pile on the volume, he can try. And then we're going to go for broke. I just want Edwards to try here. This is trouble for Edwards. He's down in this fight bad. It's been pretty bad. He just hasn't provided any volume. I mean, his nickname's the Psycho, and he is not fighting like a psycho right now. He's proven the ability to pull it out of the bag in the past. And we are going to look for a knockout here in this final round with Frankie Edwards. Can we get it? No. And that's a loss for Frankie Edwards. Disappointing. That was supposed to be a fun into the night, and Frankie Edwards didn't let us have any fun because he didn't throw very many punches. So yeah, a little disappointing. Frankie Edwards, I've said before that he doesn't have the most punch accuracy, and that I guess that can prevent you from landing punches against a slick defensive fighter like Wesley Jackson. And also a good chin. It was just hard to damage Jackson. So Frankie Edwards, I think, was due just with his skill set, his lack of defense. I think he's due for losses like that. Tough to understand losses that kind of come out of nowhere. Could maybe prevent him from being a contender in the division. That's always been a concern that I have with him. And we are going to have a few title fights here in the next couple weeks to start this next episode. So looking forward to that. All right, guys. See you.